Live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studio and the Gurkha Cigar Studio in the great state of New Hampshire, welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Smokin Nicole.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTobacco.com, and I'm not joined by the great Smokin Nicole today.
Yes, you are.
As Nicole wasn't feeling well, and so luck would have it, we had a great substitute, our old friend Pat, who's back again after his cameo appearance a few weeks ago in the studio, who luckily also works 2 minutes away now. So he was close by, and he's here, and he's here, and he's hanging out with us. It's good to have you back in the studio. Had some upgrades since you've left.
It's good to be back. We got some high-tech TVs.
A little more digital.
Yeah.
The banners were it was just taking up too much room. I was trying to go for some, I don't know.
I like it. I'm with it.
It's easier to change stuff around too. I don't have to take the sheet down. I could just click a different file and I'm done.
Yeah. I might knock the fucking TV down with my chair, but
I know it is a little tight. It is a little tight, but I was trying to save the space from the rest of the lounge, but I might have to bring them out more. I know, and it's a work. It's a work in progress.
I like it. It's advanced.
I know. We try. But it's a good thing you're here because I don't want to waste too much time. As much as I'd love to banter with you about so many topics that I know you would love to talk about, I won't say it. Don't worry. I'm not going to get you excited. I can already tell he's holding it back. He's like, I have so much I want to say on the air. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to have you back on spare notes.
If
you're not doing anything Saturday, we might want to have you on spare notes because I think I got a lot of stuff to talk
I'm
about.
gonna bring my pitchfork out.
Oh boy. Well, tonight's not a pitchfork night because tonight's a night I know you're actually happy for, because we do have a guest with us. We have a guest with us who's been on the show a few times before. I know why all you guys are here, so let's bring him on already. It's our good friend, the man, the myth, the true legend, in all caps, legend, Mr. Carlito Fuente from Arturo Fuente. There he is. Look at him. He looks great.
Thank you. No, thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Pat. I'm so happy to see you both, and I'm so happy to be here. It has been a while, I believe, and I'm so happy that so many people are joining in and watching the show. It was great to see Susan, and I send my love to Nicole and, of course, Anastasia as well. So big hugs to everyone up there in New England. And I don't know if I see you guys, well, with the exception of Pat, I don't know where he's at, but Matthew, you seem like maybe you're in Miami or someplace south. You look very casual and comfortable.
I got my Robert Graham polo on,
Good for you.
Nice lightweight.
Usually I wear my heavy white outfit, as a matter of fact, today in the factory. And I said, no, man, this is Matthew. This is a friend. And I'm just looking forward just for great conversation. And I got comfortable myself. And so I'm all yours, my friend. And I belong to all the audience. So happy to be here. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. We appreciate you. Listen, no one knows how busy you are more than us. I mean, we know. I mean, it's you wake up in the morning and it's just go time. So I appreciate you taking the time to be with us, and we're really excited. It's been a while since you've been on, but that's okay. I mean, can't be on every day. So, but yeah, we're glad. We're glad you're here.
But you don't want me on every day, and I don't blame you.
I don't know. I mean, that could be an interesting concept. I think there's some that probably would, at least for a little while, and then they'd be like, all right, I've had enough. Let's get someone else.
No, but maybe you don't see me, but I see you, and I really appreciate all the contributions, all you do for our community. When I say our community, the cigar lovers all around the world, and all the information that you share with us and everything. And a lot of times, I'm busy, I'm working, or I have other obligations. I'm not saying busy because I love what I do, but yeah, I'm doing something, but then I watch it after and everything, and I go back, and that's why I have the earphones, because it's very difficult, when someone's trying to sleep and you're watching a program. But I really enjoy it, and I myself, even though I was born into this, I learned so much, and it's so interesting to see, other manufacturers or consumers or people who love cigars when you interview them and all the shows that you do. It's just interesting to see you share this community with people who love cigars so much and really love each other. And I really mean that because I believe that. I think it's a very, very special community. And I say community because it is. It's like one big family. If you love cigars, you walk somewhere, someone's enjoying a cigar, and you don't even have to identify yourself to your cigar maker. You ask them what cigar are they enjoying, and you take out a cigar, they might not know who I am. They ask what cigar it is, and the next thing, you start a conversation, you build a friendship, and 20 minutes later, you tell that person that you also manufacture cigars and so forth. That's something magical about cigars.
Once upon a time, a great woman said to me, and her name was Cynthia Fuente, we may compete with each other for shelf space.
Of course.
But at the same time, our industry is so small that we're all in this together. And I never forgot about that. And she's right.
True. That's so true. It's absolutely true. We have to survive. We have to compete. And I remember when I used to walk into smoke shops and everything and look inside the humidors, or look back then when I started, there weren't many humidors. Sometimes there were cases. And I remember not finding our cigars very often. Now, thank God, I got to worry about making them. And then we got an incredible team of salesmen or representatives that are out there, and I'm always pressuring them, make sure you got to get out there. Come on. This is just the first inning. We got to keep going. There's never enough. So yes, we still, even though I don't do that any longer, we still have that competitive spirit, but always with respect. Always with respect. So many times when I'm ever in like a place that, that we participate in, like I'm in Tampa and I go to the Grand Cathedral and I'm somewhere and I see and I'm walking around, it doesn't matter what brand it is. If I see a cigar upside down because someone touched it or moved it or so forth, I straighten the boxes out because I know that the person that made that cigar and the person that put that cigar in the box, they did it with so much care. And a lot of times people just walk in, they turn them upside down, they move them, they take them out, put them back. And I understand that. So that really bothers me when I see that something's not organized. And it doesn't matter if it's a competitor or not. I just understand because I live it, the love and with what's tender, loving care goes into trying to present a product, as beautiful as possible so that the one that's going to enjoy it would appreciate it even more.
Absolutely.
So Cynthia's absolutely right. And I think that many people, in the industry would say the same thing. I hope they would. I don't know, because honestly, Matthew, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. I would have said, destroy them. Walk into a smoke shop and squeeze every cigar, make sure you crack them and everything. Probably 40 years ago. But as you become older and you get more mature, you understand life and you understand all these different things, you get to a point in life that you want to see all your colleagues to be successful, to be healthy, for the children to do well, for our community to grow and prosper, for all of us to get along. Because generations before me and all that, we did all go through a very tough time. It wasn't us alone. Everyone in this industry went through tough times and so forth. And I think those tough times are never going to go away. We're still facing situations. They're different, but everyone is a challenge and everything. And one thing that I've come to realize, and my colleagues have come to realize, that it's a battle. We're not fighting against each other. We're fighting together to preserve our heritage, our industry, and the products that people love so much. So things have really changed in, I want to say my generation, but I'm one of the few of my age in this industry. Most people, everybody I knew are gone. They were much older than me, and most of the people today are younger than me. So I hope that they feel the same and they learn from the experiences that my father's generation and things we all went through in the 70s and 80s, maybe even the 90s during the boom and so forth. And that overall, with the exception of the constant battle to explain that a cigar is a craft, it's a passion, it's made by hand, and so forth, that it's not other tobacco products. Other than that, explaining to the people who create the laws or people that don't understand, our business has never been healthier. Our business has never, when I say business, our community, the products we make, it's never been healthier. We've never been more united. I think that the younger generations living through the best times of the industry. If they work hard, they're creative, they're unique, they do their own thing, they have an opportunity to grow, just like my family did and other families that came into this business. They started small, but they worked hard and they've been successful. And I really believe in the young blood, and I really would love to see more people enter this industry. And I see that happening every day. People start, maybe they're passionate about cigars. They're very successful in life, and they start with a cigar. Next thing you know, they start getting more involved, and some of them even start their own little factories or start their businesses and so forth. So everybody has an opportunity. I honestly believe this, that business never been healthier. And actually, we need more members in our league. When I say league, if it was a sports league, if we got 20 teams, we need 30 teams. So when we defend our industry, we have more voices, and the more the merrier, the more the better, and the stronger we will be. The more our voices will be heard.
Absolutely.
And that includes consumers. That includes consumers. And I don't want to keep speaking. I want to give you an opportunity because this is your show.
You're good.
I'm just a guest, and I hope a welcome guest. But yes, this gives an opportunity for so many people. And today, because of the work of certain families and considered small family companies are passionate. Today, the new companies have an opportunity to grow, and they're not regulated by the FDA. It would have been impossible if the FDA, the deeming regulation, would have been passed like everybody said it was impossible to beat it. 40% of all these newcomers would have been gone, if not all of them. And I'm very proud that my colleagues and ourselves, we fought hard because we believe in the mom and pops. We believe in the brick and mortar. And that doesn't mean that they're small businesses and are not very successful and they don't have a better lifestyle than any of us here. It means that they're not big, multi-international corporations, that they have a board of directors that may not even enjoy the product or know the product, but their job is to meet the numbers and meet the quotas and keep producing income so that they could keep their jobs. They don't have the skin in the game, so to speak, because today they may be working for a cigar company and tomorrow they could be selling toothbrush or working with Elon Musk and the space station, because all these executives are the best of the best. They're brilliant. They have the best education. They're very good at what they do. They're doing their job to build their companies, and the family companies are doing their job to preserve our heritage, our history, and give an opportunity for the new generation to be able to have the same opportunity that we all had.
I know. You talk about the opportunity that you had and other generations, and we look. Pat, I know I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. I know.
Don't get me going.
Pat, this has been a hot topic the last 2 or 3 days about. This has been a really hot topic.
You and I have not spoken, coincidentally. I've been overwhelmed with different situations. I'm just trying to get my head out of water. And, I ran from the factory. I have my brother, our friends, Robert Levin, Robert from Ashton and Southia are here and everything. And, they brought down this amazing new packaging and things. And, we get together and to see Robbie, because Robert Levin, man, we go back to the very early 70s, when he first started with his father. And I just left high school and I was starting my father. So today is, he's been here for 3 days. But I left him on the last night he was here. Instead of taking a dinner, I said, I'm sorry, man. I love you. Give me a hug. But I got to get back and take a shower because I was falling asleep talking to him. I was so exhausted because I have not stopped. And tomorrow I have a flight to California for the big event that we've been doing for so many years to raise money for Cigar Family Charitable Foundation, that we get the support of Joe Mantegna, who's been with us since day one. He's the host. Andy Garcia, my brother Arturo Sandoval, he's he plays with Andy and Andy's band, and all the celebrities come. And this started as the old God of Fire cigar dinner that we started to raise money for charity. And we should do it in Beverly Hills. And this is what I was referring to earlier, the challenges we have. You cannot enjoy a cigar in Beverly Hills. It's almost impossible. We used to have events at the Bel Air. We had events everywhere at the Beverly Hills Hotel. We used to have it then after that, the Peninsula on the 5th floor, the pool area with everybody. I remember Sly coming in and all this, people it was such a beautiful event. Gail Solis, raising money for the veterans, because Joe Mantegna, all the events that we do, this event we do in LA, we split it 50% between Cigar Family Charitable Foundation and 50% for Joe Mantegna's foundation, which his foundation support the veterans, all the veterans and everything, all the situations that the veterans have gone through, and for autism. So we've been doing this, I don't know for how long, at least 20 years. And during COVID, it stopped. And I got a call from, they're trying to find a place. So now we do it in Toluca Lakes. It's for Andy Garcia, Joe Mantegna, the Mancuso family, who Mr. Frank Mancuso was the CEO of Paramount Movies. Was one of my father's really heroes, close friends, Arturo Sandoval. This is all their country club. So, there are two worlds. They're the worlds that Carlito Fuente goes to and he can't get a table because he didn't get a reservation 6 months ago. And there's a world where these names, they go there, they want to have a cigar dinner, no problem. You can smoke cigars here, whatever you guys want. So fortunately, that world, I have friends in that world that believe in giving back. So I'm flying tomorrow and I'm looking forward to seeing them, all my friends in LA again, and enjoying cigars with them and raising money for great causes. So nonstop, as long as the Lord allows me, nonstop.
That's right. Yeah, no, and we know how dedicated you are and how much you do. Which, by the way, I know that you guys just had another Cigar Family graduation, so congratulations on that as well. I know Jay Davis was down there. He posted all about it. So I know Tony was down there. I talked to Tony today. So, and Tony, by the way, I want to give a shout out. He's at El Pasticcio right now, which I'm jealous.
He is.
Yeah.
A shout out to Paolo. I know Paolo, our friend Paolo, the Italian chef. Yeah, I know Pasticcio is a great place in Santiago. We have a lot of memories there. It's just something that is very, very nice. And we enjoy cigars. We have a room where we can enjoy cigars. We listen to Frank Sinatra or D. Martin. It just got the right vibes. It's almost like a real Italian, something you see maybe in New England or some little neighborhood in Massachusetts or New York. It's not a big fancy restaurant, but it's family. It's got that feel, home cooking. It's very, very nice.
And you guys got your spot right in the back.
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I know, I've been there. It's some of the best food I've ever had.
And you know what good food is, I'm sure. Man.
Yeah. I like to eat.
Absolutely. So do I.
Let's take a quick sec. We're gonna do a couple of our shorter segments really quick. First, we're gonna give a shout out to, I don't know why this is not on here. Let me bring him in there. Our friends at 2guyscigars.com. That's right, the number 2, guyscigars.com. Head over there today for an amazing selection of cigars, including cigars from Arturo Fuente. You'll find some brands over there that you know and love, and maybe a few you haven't quite discovered yet. So do yourself a favor, place an order today at the number 2, guyscigars.com. Carlito, are you smoking over there with us?
I am, sir.
What you got? What are you smoking over there?
I have a Perfection X, and I brought a fresh box that I'm going to open up of a surprise cigar that I want to light up in a few moments. But right now I'm smoking a Perfection X.
Oh, all right. Good for you. Pat, what do you got over there?
So I have a Carlito Fuente Opus, a double shot. Well, Carlito Fuente. Core line, which everyone knows my favorite cigar. So
yeah. Yeah.
Perfection X's is my all-time favorite opus, though. But
They're
all good. There's not a bad one. I mean, it's
Pat, it's just that I wanted to grab a cigar, and I just didn't know what to. But you're absolutely right. It's just a question of what mood, and then you know what I just did. So just so you know, I'm just a human being like everybody else, and I'm self-conscious about a lot of things. And before the show started, I felt my hat was sideways, like I mentioned. It reminded me when a plane was trying to land and it's windy.
He was adjusting it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. For about 15 minutes. And Maggie says, "Carlito, it looks fine. Don't worry."
It looks fine.
I was smoking a cigar, and I see myself very small because I see you both also, and I have everything around me because I'm not very talented when it comes to this computers and all these things. I'm old school, man. Give me a mode and give me a chaveta or whatever, a hand of tobacco. But I was smoking this, I was enjoying this cigar, and then all of a sudden, man, this cigar is too long, and I'm looking at this thing, and it looks like it's 2 feet long. What I did while you were mentioning all these two guys and our friends, David Garofalo and all this, what I did is I cut the cigar. I cut off a big piece that was lit so I could light it again so it doesn't look so long. I'm self-conscious that I'm going to speak to you and I'm going to hit the screen. And it's not that big of a cigar. So I brought different cigars. The one shorter, brought this, but the one I'm looking forward to light up on this program because it's history. And tonight, to me, is history. And I will tell you why later. And I want it to be a surprise. I want to light up another cigar.
Absolutely.
So I want to light up another cigar in some moment and to be able to share with you about what this cigar means to me.
Absolutely. Well, I got the night started here with a cigar that came out earlier this year. I think earlier this year, or either earlier this year or end of last year. You'll know because you know when your stuff goes out. But the Opus X Templo de Oro.
Yes, that was the end of last year.
Okay.
The end of last year. Thanks for asking me an easy question. I was getting worried again. No, thank you. No, that was the end of last year. This is something that we had created quite a while ago. Not, I will say, before COVID. And COVID came out, and we didn't know what to do because it was something when I was traveling to the the Far East and things like this. And I was impressed with the culture and a lot of different things, and I was going to Egypt, with Stefano Ricci, and to Dubai, the desert with Hublot, and just different places, and I wanted to do something that was exotic and different, and all these stories of Indiana Jones and all these things. I thought about gold and Templo and all that, but it was intended for that market, originally it was intended. The box and everything was created and everything long ago. I started making cigars. All these things, a lot of things took place that we didn't anticipate. And last year, I remember because traditionally, every November, December, we started first in November, Thanksgiving. We came out with Hemingway Maduro. This is going back to the 80s. It was the first cigar ever released that was seasonal in a sense. Because I remember I used to wait for Thanksgiving. Every year I used to love, my mom used to bring home eggnog that wasn't available all year round, and fruitcakes. So I remember I loved the eggnog and everything. And that thought that something was seasonal. I remember like in the early 80s, maybe 86, was the first time that we made Hemingway and Maduros, and it was only released. And for years we did that. And then later we started doing the same thing with Añejo and so forth. But that was the first. So I realized how important it was for brick and mortar tobacconists to have a happy and very successful year. And we were doing these releases and everything. So it's become a tradition. Every year we don't inform the retailer. We don't inform them what we're sending. There's special stuff. They never say no. We send it to them with an invoice, and all we hear the next day, wow, they want more, they want more, they want more. And this has become a tradition, and Templo de Oro is one of those brands and blends and packagings and so forth that was intended to go to the Far East, and last year to do something special for the retailers, we released it to the retailers. So it was last year. It might have been end of November or something last year, along with a lot of other things that we released the end of last year. So don't make my night difficult. Don't ask me what they were because I have to stop and think.
I think we know what most of them were, but I won't. But no, I mean that was an interesting one because Pat, you've smoked it, right?
Yep.
The consensus I took from it, which I think most people would agree, was it's probably the mildest opus that you've made.
Yes, it is. Yes,
which
it
is interesting because Opus X is a full-bodied cigar. Classic.
The original, the classic Fuente Opus X, the one with the red ribbon and so forth, and the Perfection X, the Recette de Chateau, the Power Ranger or Extra Third Power, all the Robustos, those, when they were released, were probably the most full-bodied cigar on the market. When they were released in 1995, it was so different than anything else. Most cigars were mild during those years. The 80s cigars were mild. Everything was mild. Miller Lite, Marlboro Light, all the advertisement, the whole trend was mild and mild and mild. Fuente Opus X was very powerful. And those cigars that you say are strong, nowadays I don't think they're really strong. They're unique in flavor, but they're not the strongest they were. We do make cigars that are stronger, but a lot of them are like very special cigars used for charity, the BBMF, the PJ, those are stronger cigars, but the rest of the cigars, they're intentionally different. When we did the blue, the Angel Share, they're blended a little different. They're still the lower priming on the tobacco plant. They're not as aggressive. They're a little sweeter. It's just a question of personal taste, and maybe it's me also. As I become older in life and I mature more, maybe I feel comfortable riding a Bentley or being in a nice comfortable car and not have a motor up my rear, inside a Ferrari. And honestly, I produce the cigars that I love, that I believe in, and we've been very fortunate because that's a cigar that I felt that for the Asian market, Far East market, they were not really, they want a cigar with, they don't know what they want, I believe, and I don't want to insult anybody, but they want a cigar that is flavorful and not as aggressive and everything. Because I know a lot of people buy Fuente Opus X and they're disappointed because maybe it's too strong for them, or maybe it's this for them. It's not what they want. And I know it's the most controversial trademark in the world of cigars because I see it and I hear people's reaction. And when something is not favorable to me, it hurts me. It hurts me. I'm human. I believe in this. I think it's the best I humanly could do. But this, remember, originally was blended, and this whole concept was for the Far East. That it's not the big guy that wants something to blow him out. No, it's a different market. And I'm not saying it has more finesse and everything, but I just don't think that the tolerance of very, very powerful cigars has reached that level like it has in the Americas.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that wasn't a knock either. I mean, it's just different. Yeah.
No, bro, I'm used to getting knocked. Don't worry about it.
I know.
I'm used to getting knocked. It's not a problem at all. No, I didn't take it that way. It is, I would consider the mildest, and it looks like the mildest when you see it. And I know that perception has a lot to do with before you light a cigar, how you perceive it to be. I really believe that. I've come to believe that from my lifelong experience in cigars and packaging and everything. It's just like food or anything else, or it's like falling in love. First, it has to go through your eyes. And if you see something that looks pleasant, or you see something that you think is mild, you see a glass that's clear, you think it's water, and you go to drink it and it's gin or vodka, you don't go by appearance. But it's the same thing. I know that the appearance is that it's mild as a cigar, but I really believe it's got a lot of flavor, and I don't think it's any less than medium. It depends. Everything is relative. It depends what you compare it to. If
True.
you compare a Templo de Oro, for example, just because you brought that subject up, and we're talking about perception, taste, and cigars, you compare that to any cigar made in the 1980s, any cigar made in the Canary Islands, in Jamaica, any cigar made in the Dominican Republic in those days, the big brands, Canary. I was thinking Canary de Oro because I thought of Canary Islands. You weren't born yet. That was a brand made by General Cigar. But you would compare a Templo de Oro today to any cigar made during those decades, it would blow their brains. It would be so strong. But everything is relative again.
Right.
I don't consider it a mild cigar. I consider it a cigar that you retrohaled, you get the pepper, you get the sweetness in the front and everything. Is it an Opus X that when you turn the motor on, you hear the roar and you go like that, and you go just to touch the gas pedal and you get backlash? No, that's not that type of cigar. An Opus X, when it was first blended, was intended to be. But today, like I said, it's all relative and it's what you like. And there are a lot of cigars that are so powerful that I personally, and not an offense to anybody or not criticizing, that I don't know how people smoke them. But my father taught me, and this is the first lesson anybody wants to learn, come into cigar business must learn. There are two cigars, the one that sells and the one that doesn't sell. So, the one that sells and sells over and over again and people really, really enjoy, that's the one that you have to struggle and fight for, do the best you can to be able to reach that pinnacle.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say you've done that. Wouldn't you, Pat?
So. I'd say so. Yeah.
You think he made it?
I think he made it.
Yeah. Another quick shout out to our friends at SC DuPont. And I know Les Mann is watching too, Carlito. Les told me he was going to be here. But our friends at SC DuPont, featuring the new table lighter from ST DuPont. This one's a little low in fuel. The new table lighter. Ask your local retailer today if they shake up the legacy with ST DuPont. He was around here earlier. He made a comment. I think he's still there. He said he was going to watch. He told me he couldn't miss you.
No, that's very nice. I love Les. He's lifelong friend. Let's put it that way in the industry. And the products that ST DuPont create and produce, I mean, that's top of the line. It's absolutely beautiful. It's jewelry. It's jewelry. Like I said earlier, it's at that level. It's just incredible. Oh
yeah, luxury. I mean, it's like museum quality.
Absolutely, no question. Jewelry is luxury.
Oh yeah.
It's not it's luxury. Absolutely, no question about it.
And I was there last year at the trade show when Les was there and you were there and Cynthia and Zero and Carlos, your son, was there.
That's correct.
And you guys unveiled the Fuente Opus X collection from ST DuPont, which was beautiful, by the way. We had it on the show for a little while. Really, really awesome. Really, really cool. And then the year before that, they did the Padron 60th, which I know you worked with George.
Yes,
Padron.
Absolutely. That's beautiful.
And
everything they do, everything.
Oof, amazing. So it really is. Give a shout out to our friends at Nova Cigar. They're with us every week, helping us make Nova big. Carlito, so there he is, last man. I'm here. I'm here.
Big hugs, bro.
Big hugs. Good to see you, Les. Arnold Serafine is here. There's a lot of people here. We had a great turnout tonight. A lot of people. So I think I know what you're going to pull out later, and I don't want to blow your thunder on that one, so I can wait until you're ready to get into that.
I'm here with you, and I'm here for you. So, of course, and everybody that's listening, of course. Whatever you feel. We're just having a friendly conversation. We haven't spoken in a while. We spoke very briefly at our trade convention at PCA, and it was so difficult with so many people around us and everything. So, to me, this is just getting back together, good friends and all that, and people that enjoy the similar things in life. Mention good food.
Absolutely. I mean, we can agree on that. I know you like to eat. I like to eat. I think that I'm gonna take a detour for a second because you'll appreciate this. Anytime, like I've been in the Dominican Republic, but obviously friends of ours, no names mentioned, Jay Davis, Fred Rui, and William Cooper, go to the Dominican Republic for, I think, Pro Cigar. Let's just say that. All they talk about is the food. I'm like, how's Pro Cigar? Oh, that's cool. We went to LFD today. We went to Fuente today. But I gotta tell you, we went to this place and we ate this and we ate this and we ate this. It's all I talked to Jay and Coop. All they talk about is the food. We gotta go to Saga.
That sounds like Jay and Coop. That sounds like Jay and Coop. Yeah, of course. By the way, Fred Rui was just here. He came with Tor, and they came for the graduation and so forth, which was very appreciative, very nice of them.
Yeah.
Frey was here not too long ago because he comes with Pro Cigar and so forth. But Tor Nielsen has been a while. He's a dear, dear friend. I remember when he was just first starting, very young. His mom, Lisa, his father, Dave. Dave, great guy. I hear they're retired. And I say, what? Retired? They're younger than I am. How could they be retired? But, just great people. And that's... I think that this is the only industry, and we were talking. I was with Lito and George Padron, and we were talking about this subject. It's the only industry where your consumers become your friends, where your critics become your friends. Where it's just through a cigar, the relation where your colleagues, your competitors, have people what might imagine become your friends. How their children's today are friends. They go to each other's weddings. They after a big smoke or after an event, some big cigar event where different families are at this particular event. The young generation doesn't wait for the event's over. They got plans to go to a club or they have plans to go someplace, and it's incredible because when I say these are the children. I'm going to put it this way, which is much more accurate. These are the grandchildren whose grandfather were my close friends, and today are friends with my son. Because I had my son when I was 46 years old, so there's like a little gap there in generation. But if you think about that, there's no other industry that I'm aware of that the consumer knows the maker. That the consumer becomes friends with the maker's family,
right?
And all of us, the community has been friends. It's very, very. When you think about it, it's very, very heartwarming, and we should protect that. I think we should preserve that, and that's why programs like yours, and you mentioned Coop and so forth. When I have an opportunity to speak to you as friends and not something that. It's not dissecting the inside of something and try to find the DNA. It's not a scientific program, but it's a program about life. Or we have conversations just like normal people would have in a cigar lounge. You realize that moments like this, it's important for my generation, for me especially, it's important for me to express this philosophy, this way of thinking, this idea that I've come to believe in that's so special, so that those that follow us, that follow me, that follow Lito, that follow, even George is younger, but that will follow George one day. George is following his father. Lito's children follow their father. It's important that they hear this is documented, that they hear the real stories of life and of the cigar world. Because if we don't document this, Matthew, and other colleagues of yours don't properly, and that word properly, I mean it in capital letters, like you said in the beginning. If they don't document it properly, then someone will come and change history. And that's unfair to generations to come. Because if you don't know the history, if you are definitely destined to commit the same mistakes that generations before have committed. And I think that it's very important for these programs to document all these situations of life and experiences of my generation, or the people who today are a face of the cigar world, or a face or a voice of cigar world. I think it's very important, Matthew.
I agree.
For me, it definitely is.
I think very well said. Very well said. I agree. Do you have anything you want to add? I know I feel bad. You're like kind of over there. I didn't want to leave you out on the wind.
No, one of these shots, I don't want to interrupt. I mean, I'm loving this.
I know, me too. But I also feel bad. I didn't want to leave you out in the cold either. I know you you have. You always
I'll have plenty of time. The next topic we get into.
Pat was all fight. I feel like Pat got all of his conversation out before the show. He was on a roll today.
No, I definitely got my my words into the day for sure.
Oh yeah. We'll have to fill you in after the show.
Yeah.
We definitely have a couple of off-air questions we want to ask you, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Your sister's here, by the way. Shout out to the great Cynthia Fuente, who is with us.
I love her so much. The most beautiful soul you could ever meet.
It's true. It's true.
Absolutely.
She's cooler than you. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I gotta be fair.
Not only that, my sister is such a beautiful, and not only physically. I mean, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. There's no question about it. Nobody could deny that. She, even at her age, she is gorgeous. She walks by and she lights up a room. You have to stop and look at her. But when you hear her speak and she looks at you with her gleaming eyes, and you know that she speaks from the heart. She'll steal your heart in a second, and everybody. There's no place I go to that people don't ask me for my sister and tell me how much they love her, what a great-hearted soul she is. She's the best. I love her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's got some wisdom.
She does. She does, yeah. And she's such a kind person. She's always worried about everybody and all the stuff she does. And I know that all my mom's generation, and even before, when Cynthia and Tampa, when they were elderly and they were alone, they lost their wife or their husband, and they're in an elderly home, an old people's home, they call it. And Cynthia would be there with all of them, visiting everybody, every birthday, make sure every Mother's Day. It was, she's a special human being. She really is. It's not just when you see her in a cigar lounge, smoking a cigar, having a great time and speaking to everybody. The other side of Cynthia is the side that I know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, every time I've gotten to spend with her, it's been special. It's been great. And, she's just always had so much to share, and always taught me something. Like I said to you right at the beginning of the show, like what I said to you about your competitors and about working together. I mean, like I've never forgot that, and it's important, it's true, and I think that's a great way to explain our industry, because there is no industry. If everyone always says, "Oh, there's no industry like the premium cigar industry," that's true, but does anyone really know why? And that's one of probably the few reasons that really stand out as to why this industry is special. And then, like you said, where like the consumers become friends with the cigar makers. You don't like how many people can say that they're friends with, give me an example. The Ford family, who can say, how many people can say that they're friends with, the Willett family? You know what I mean? I'm sure there's some, but not like to the extent of like the ratio as it is like in the cigar business. You know what I mean? It's different. It really is. It's a small, tight-knit community, and that's what makes it special. It also makes it an easy target against the government, but I don't want to go into that with you.
Don't get me going.
I know. I don't want to get you going.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, man. That's the legal side of Pat. He gets all...
Yeah, no, I don't blame him. Man.
He knows. Yeah, I know you know.
It's especially if you're a patriot, you're American, and you believe in the U.S. Constitution. Of course you're going to. It has to light you up. There's no question about it.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. But we'll have to get into that later. We'll have to get right to that later.
Oh,
that's a rabbit. That's a rabbit hole.
Don't get me fired up. I lost all my feathers and all the fights and everything. Right now, I just want peace for everybody. But you know what? It doesn't go away. It's like stop throwing rocks on the back of my head. I'm bleeding already. Let us enjoy the victories, and let us enjoy life, and let us enjoy people. It's nonstop.
Yeah.
And our colleagues are constantly consumers. Many little by little are starting to be aware and everything because they hear us speaking and all the work of CRA, PCA, all the media, but it's nonstop. They don't understand sacrificing your family, sacrificing your business. You know, you constantly have to be doing events, going to Washington, and I'm going to say this because it's the truth. And anybody, first, you have to have lobbyists. Lobbyists are like lawyers, and it's a constant battle. And the lawyers that are your lobbyists go against the other lawyers at the other lawyers, and everything gets more complicated and more money, and they're making more revenue. It is a system that was created, the Constitution created by lawyers and all this stuff, and the lobbyists in Washington. No. But let me just say, as much as you really want to, and all these different things, it's all about influence, and it's all about power and who has more do, re, mi. Because you cannot walk into a senator's office, a congressman, or someone. There are exceptions because you can't say always, because it could be a friend of your father or someone you went to school or colleague or something like that. But in the majority of the time, maybe they don't start this way, because when they're new and everything, it's like a new broom always sweeps good. And that's an old Cuban saying, because the brooms were with straw and everything like that. Not like the brooms today, they're made with fiber or whatever, or vacuum cleaners. The broom, after a while, it got all worn out. And that's the same thing. In the beginning, they go in, they promise to do all this stuff, but after a while, they get a taste of power, and it's all about who gives you more money. And of course, there are people with principles, because they're my friends, and I'm very grateful for a lot of them. But you cannot, or you won't get anywhere for the first time knocking on the door of a senator, a congressman, or someone like that if you don't give them an envelope. And the first thing they ask you for is your email. And that's why Matthew Tobacco, I said, if you ever want to reach me, don't send an email. Because when CRA started, we started going up to Washington, Rocky, me, George Padron, Robert Levin. We started going to Washington and a few others. Give me a few moments, but we had to bring an envelope. And everybody, whatever it was, we had to get lobbyists, all these different things, and paid it. Everybody said, not a problem. They promised the world, but there's always something, there's always this last second 3-pointer that they throw from half the court or 3/4 of the court away, and they pull a bill or something that is just a constant battle. And the reason I said don't send me emails, because I don't look at emails. Why? Because what I said, you got to give an envelope and your email. I get hundreds of email a day from asking me for $50 or $100. The world's falling apart. This is happening. And it's not one particular political party. It's all of them. It's the same. You give your email. It's crazy. So, I mean, it's just, it's crazy what it is, and what the cigar manufacturers went through and still go through their day, their time, their money, but more than that, sleepless nights. Because if you really care, you worry this is gonna destroy the right to be able to enjoy a legal product and all these different things. And you guys had this conversation in the background, and maybe this is not the moment, but you see what's happening, generational bans.
No, he's gonna.
No, wait, don't get.
That's definitely a part of the hot topic tonight.
Man. You know why I like to travel not mostly, but it's something to me that touches me, that I'm grateful for. If I go to an event somewhere, I just came back and you meet people enjoying a cigar. They come up to me because they want to say hello. They want to introduce themselves. They want to meet me because they love Fuente cigars. It means something to them and everything. And you find out they're a major of the Marines, or a lieutenant general and this and that, and now they're doing this, or it's a reverend or whatever you call it from the chapel in the military. And you hear the stories all through the cigar. you know, and how cigars mean to them and how grateful they were when they were in Afghanistan, and the stories they tell me that they're this, and they have so, the stories are terrifying, but the only moment of peace they got was that cigar that was sent to them, and how much a cigar means to them. That's what we fight for. Those patriots, those people. That's what's important. The Constitution of the United States of America, the greatest document ever created other than the Bible, the Constitution. That's what we fight for. How could you take all this away, generational bans and this? How about those that serve us, that could go at 18 years old, could go and they could send them somewhere, anything could happen any day. And they're going to take something that goes back to over 500 years, that has been legal, and it's a product that's natural. You're going to take it away from those that serve us, that risk their life, enjoy a legal cigar. We beat the FDA, not me, but my colleagues. I was just one. But when you think about those things, because the FDA came after the handmade cigar industry, all the family business, with everything, that it would have been impossible to comply with the regulation they wanted to bring on us. It was going to destroy us. And all the New England Journal of Medicine, all the different things, FDA spent all this money on research. And everything that the Cigar Rights America said about cigar enjoyment and everything, we won in federal court. Won in federal court because of the Constitution of the United States. Today, Smokin Tabacco is able to have a show. Today, Cigar Magazine Press is able to have a cigar magazine. One of the things that they were coming after us was all kind of reaching out to people and so forth, all kind of advertising or promotions and things. We fought everything, but because of the Constitution of the United States, we've gotten to second base. But we're never going to get home. We realize that, because when we try to run the third or something happens. And every day is a different battle. And we beat the FDA, and now you see in different states they want to do generational bans or this. It's a nonstop. And now's my moment to plead to those that are listening. Reach out to your friends. It's not about the cigar makers. It's about you, those that enjoy a cigar. It's about your right. They take away the privilege and the pleasure of enjoying a cigar, one of the oldest American pastimes. They take that away. Tomorrow they're going to take away your ice cream cone. I've seen this happening. Trust me. After the show, we'll talk him. I'm still awake. But honestly, that's something that's hard, and that's important for the consumer, because the cigar manufacturers, we're just a handful. We can't do it alone, and the press has done everything that they could to help us and everything. What really matters is voters, U.S. citizens in your community, and we've talked about this so many times, to reach out to your representative and everything to protect your rights. And hopefully, maybe Cigar Rights of America will give me a discount on our next quota for promoting them. So,
And
no,
I'm
joking. Really. No, it's the consumer. The consumer. Cigar Rights of America was originally, I'm a founder of Cigar Rights of America, one of the founders. And the whole intention, the very beginning, and I don't know, Matthew, we probably talked about this, or you heard of, the whole concept of Cigar Rights of America is to have a consumer organization. A consumer organization. And the manufacturers in the beginning, the few that started this, we had to finance it because we didn't have enough consumers. But the idea was the board to eventually, little by little, retire and be replaced with consumers, because the government hears consumers, not people who they believe has a personal interest in the argument. They believe in consumers. That's why our greatest ally is the consumer. Cigar Rights of America is constantly growing, a growing base. PCA is reaching out to consumers little by little. But if someone could speak to someone it's your voice, as a consumer's voice, is the only way we're going to protect the right to be able to enjoy a cigar when your daughter gets married, or your son, or you have a baptism, or you hit your grandson hit his first home run in Little League. You want to celebrate. That's what cigars are about. Historically, it's about celebration. It's about bringing people together, and little by little, the word is out. People are listening, but we need every consumer, he and she, to be a voice and try to reach out. Follow the PCA, follow Cigar Rights of America. All these podcasts, Matthew, it's constantly, you mentioned Coop, Abe. I mean, this is the conversation that consumers, if you love cigars, and there's someone, because I know a lot of people listening tonight are my friends, but if this is the first time you're listening to me or hearing me, if you enjoy cigars, you're going to enjoy all these conversations that my colleagues have with, with the press, with the interviewers and different people. You're going to enjoy this, and you're going to enjoy your cigars more. You're going to understand more. But listen to what they say, and listen to what I'm saying. Everyone needs you to be a voice and to defend your right to be able to enjoy a cigar, because little by little, they're ripping our three colors, red, white, and blue, one by one. They're ripping it apart. And cigars is something that, when they discovered America, that's what they discovered. People enjoying cigars because it was part of a ceremony. It was social. It was used for medicine, but it was very spiritual. And to me, it means a lot, and to a lot of families in this industry who understand that, who has a heritage from that background, from that culture. It means more to us than just a sale. Much more. It's very, very deep. So I'm pleading to hear my voice, and if there's any way, just talk to someone and just think about the opportunity, the privilege to be able, I call it a blessing, I don't expect you to be able to enjoy a cigar. I'm not saying fight or but fight for your rights, defend your rights. And hopefully we'll continue to, win one battle after another, because the war will never end. And I don't want to discourage anybody, but if we keep fighting, we'll keep enjoying cigars.
You know what George Washington used to say? If you can't send money, send tobacco.
Yes, so I'm aware of that. Absolutely. Tobacco was the 13 colonies. The tobacco was, you talk about the revolution, tobacco, or independence. Tobacco was the backbone of culture and commerce and so forth. It's part of our history, part of our culture, and it's sad that, like, remember I said earlier, if you don't document history, somebody's going to change it. There's a lot of people, for some reason or other, who really don't understand. And I'm not criticizing what they're doing. They think they're doing their jobs. I really, they say in Spanish, criticize the generations before me, especially because let me get a little better. Let me be a little bit more accurate. Let me get closer to the screen. 98%, I believe, there's no numbers backing up what I'm saying, but if you could search, 98% were families, were mom and pop. It's just like the family pharmacists, the family hardware. That was the fiber that built this country. They were families. And that's lost. When you think about the majority were families, in numbers they were small, but the big companies or the big corporations are the ones that have the voice with lobbying and so forth. And it's difficult, but I'm telling everyone that I know that We're enjoying cigars because of the hard work of so many people. And we have to keep fighting. We have to keep fighting. And I know that this is a subject that I wish I wouldn't have got into because it's very, very painful. Because nothing is more important to me than keeping the memory of my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, my father keeping his memory alive through the hard work, the stories that hopefully those stories that have been written about, that it would inspire someone to follow their footsteps and do good with humanity and do good in life through hard work. It concerns me very much. It means more to me than the business that those stories, not my family, but the other hundreds of families, remember what I mentioned earlier, if you go back to the heyday, they were almost all families. Just like that brick and mortar of pharmacists and the brick and mortar of the family, you knew that there were families. It concerns me that if our rights are taken away and we don't stand up, that history will be erased. It will be erased. And I think I have an obligation, as well as many of my colleagues who people may see them as my competitors, feel the same. Because we were forged through revolutions, fire, sacrifice, but strengthened with love. And I think that that's something that we all truly believe. It's not me alone. It's not me. That's what our cigar community is. That's what cigar manufacturers is. That's what cigar growers are. That's what all those families that maybe thanks to the media, now people are starting to know who those families are. But years ago, that's where it started. Those families grew the tobacco sacrifices in different countries or whatever. They were not known. Now with the media, we know, and all of us are friends, and people get to know them as well, because they also now are interviewed by you. They also go to big events where people come to. And I think we all have a duty and to continue to fight so that history is not erased, and that we have to continue to have the blessing, which I believe is a blessing more than just a privilege, to be able to enjoy a great cigar. Because if it wasn't for a cigar, I wouldn't be here speaking to you, to either of you. I wouldn't be here seeing all these names that are watching tonight, that today are my dear friends. Everybody I met out of my kindergarten, my 2 square block neighborhood, my junior high and high school, I don't know any of them where they're at today. All my friends are people that I met through cigars. They have become my family. It's all through a cigar. It's more than just a cigar.
You even have competitors asking you right here I know Daniel Lance from Domain Cigars. When's that beautiful factory?
Oh, yes. Hey, how you doing?
When's that beautiful factory in Esteli going to open? We're right down the street.
Great. We'll have coffee together. That sounds great. Yes, absolutely.
When is that Nicaraguan factory going to be open?
Well, we were supposed to open last year. I'm not going to go into the situations and things that have happened unexpectedly, and it has nothing to do with Nicaragua or anything like that. It was just something, and things to set back up. We're going out. Think we're supposed to go this week, but we have a situation. Anyway, and then I have to go to Europe. It's so Cyril's supposed to be there the week after next, and we're going to start teaching people and everything. Things going. We should be in there in the next. Slowly. I just want to make that clear. The building is big, okay? And there's the reason why the building is big. And if we have time, I'll say it. But we're going to go slowly. We're going to start teaching. We're going to do everything exactly with the methods we have here. I really come from that old school, like I said, with battle wounds, so to speak. I don't want the same mistake that was happening in Nicaragua, what happened in the Dominican Republic. I want to teach the people. I want to teach everybody, do things our way. I'm not there to take away anything. I want to be there to contribute and be an ally and so forth. And so we're going to start very slow, So it's not something like people were thinking that we're going to go there all of a sudden, boom. Now we're not in a hurry for that, but definitely want to get started this year. But the cigars won't be out for a long time because we don't rush. So, but you'll see some activity, and maybe go have some coffee together when I'm down.
Yeah, you guys don't rush the hands of time.
No, but it's not that. There's a reason.
Yeah. Pat, what do you got?
So I'm gonna add to this. Just I'll keep it censored. So.
Uh-oh.
And I'm gonna tether this back to what this industry is, but the generational smoking ban that we're talking about, which I'll be on another show, I'm sure, that I can kind of go deeper into this because I don't think this is the right time for it. Now, the state's New York, which we will be talking about New York tonight for a special reason, which Carlito will tell us about. But before that, there is a generational smoking ban being talked about in New York. There's already been one passed in Massachusetts, Brookline, Massachusetts, the first city, municipality in the country to pass such a ban. But, the thing that troubles me with any legislation in general with premium tobacco, especially a generational smoking ban, is when you look at politics, it's votes, right? It's what sounds good to the common people, and unfortunately, your average person is not someone educated in premium tobacco. And what sounds good? We're protecting the kids, right? And it's big tobacco. Premium tobacco is under the umbrella, in the political sense, of cigarette tobacco, vaping now, dip tobacco, and it's when you're in this political theater, premium tobacco is thrown into that category, and it's treated like no one really addresses cigars. If you go into these political meetings, you talk to these politicians, cigars rarely ever gets mentioned. Obviously, at the federal level, with the deeming rules, that was the core subject. But in most of your political theaters, premium tobacco is not identified separately. It's tobacco. It's everything. It's vaping, cigarettes, loose tobacco. And then premium is just under that umbrella. And the reason why, we're talking about me getting fired up before the show. The reason why I get fired up is it's the lack of information with politicians and what this industry is. And, this isn't a need. And I do cigar tasting still. Everyone's on the show that when I was on last year knows that, I was working at Twin Smoke Shop for 5 years. I went to law school. I became a lawyer. So I still stay in the industry as a passion. And one of the things I do is I do cigar tastings. I don't know why Siri is talking to me right now, but and the reason why I do that is because, this isn't a need industry. It's a want. No one is smoking a premium product, premium tobacco, because they need to. It's because they want to. And why do they want to? It's one of, I can't even think of another industry that uses all 5 of your senses. And when you have a cigar, it's always with good company. And you're enjoying, it's the feel of the cigar. It's the scenery. It's how it feels in your hand. We're talking about visual. What does the box look like? It's how it's presented, the taste, the smell, the good conversation. And it's not addictive. And the reason why people do it all the time is because it's relaxing. And I think we talk about the FDA regulations. There's actually a study that says that, premium tobacco is not bad for you. And it actually suggests that it's good for you in the sense that if you have one cigar a day, you take an hour to 2 hours, depending on what the cigar is, to just sit down and relax. Because stress is one of the number one killers in this country. You just relax. And the thing when it comes to the generational smoking ban that really, 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 really upsets me and gets me on the tangents we had before the show, and Carlito, if you're here after the show, I'll probably get into it, is you're taking something that is, when this country became to be, it was over like a 5-cent tax, right? And here we are today talking about taking away the rights of people that can't even vote yet. And the issue I have with that mainly, and I'll take a personal experience and I'll tether that to, some of the cigar tastings I did. me, for instance, personally, like, what is a premium cigar to me? Like everyone on the show knows my father was in law enforcement. I'm in law enforcement currently as a prosecutor. And when I was younger, my dad was busy. He was working. He was doing overnights. I never saw my dad. I saw he went to all my sport games. He made sure he was there and present for that. But, just sitting down and just talking to him was a very scarce thing. And, when I started smoking cigars when I was 18, it was because I was at, we do fundraiser golf tournaments for the police unions. And my dad smoked cigars. So when I turned 18, the first thing I wanted to do at that golf tournament was have a cigar, because my dad smoked cigars. And I did, and I loved it. I think it was an Ashton Classic was my first cigar.
Okay.
And then from there, my father and I smoked cigars often. In, those years of not having that personal time with him have been made up by, times 10. Smoking. I smoked him every night. I smoked with him. And it's that connection. It's you're having a good conversation. You're catching up on past, experiences. And, that is at its core what this industry is. And I'll take that to the tastings I do, because I typically give that same kind of speech when I'm at a tasting, and I kind of give a general overview of what this industry is. And every time I've done a tasting so far, I've done probably, I'd say, like over 20. And it's usually like larger tastings, like 30, 40 people. There's always somebody who has a story like that. The most recent one I had was at Winston's Lounge in Laconia. It's a private lounge that's by Kurt, my old boss at Twins, that he loves going to. And I said that same thing. And one guy said, he's like, I get that, the five senses, the smell. He's like, I was at a fair once, and I smelt something. And it reminded me of my grandfather. And I looked, and there was a guy smoking a cigar. And my grandfather smoked cigars. And I just walked over to him, and I was like, hey, what are you doing? What are you smoking? And he they talked about the cigar, and he's like, my grandfather smoked cigars. A random guy, never met this guy before, said, well, you should have one. And he gave him a cigar. And they enjoyed one together. Like, that is what this industry is. It's not a need, it's a want. And it's very spiritual. It uses all five of your senses. It's very spiritual. You're more connected to people when you're enjoying this product. It's not addictive. And it's the fact that there is legislators telling me that when I have a child, I can't have the experience I had with my father. It's sickening. I lose sleep over that. And to me, it's disgusting. Again, like, this country's inception was based off of a tax. And now there's legislators in New York telling me that my kids can't buy a premium cigar. Not because they directly, dispute premium tobacco. It's because they're ignorant to look into what they're regulating. Cigarettes, I'm not a cigarette smoker, but I can concede that smoking cigarettes is not healthy for you. The vaping, I think it's very clear with our youth that vaping is a horrible thing, and it's causing a lot of damage. Premium tobacco, you just look at the prices. No one is going into a cigar shop when they're 12 trying to buy a cigar. It's $15, $20. It's out of their price range. That's like 4 hours of minimum wage if they have a job. That's not happening. But it's ignorance. It's, this sounds good for me. I'm helping the kids vote for me. And that's why lobbying is essential, because you have to educate these people that they're not regulating something that sounds good to the common populace of people. You're indirectly destroying an industry that's tethered on people, on being spiritual, and having connections. It's a relaxation. It's a want, not a need. Right? And that's the importance of lobbying. And that's why New York is a really huge thing right now, because now, granted, Massachusetts, Brookline, it's passed, it happened. New York is a state, right? And we're not going to go into politics. It's a blue state, right? If something passes in one state, it's going to pass in other states, because that's how people vote. So it's essential that, again, from the consumer standpoint to get involved, but also in the lobbying standpoint, there needs to be a presence. These politicians have to be educated. They have to look the people in the eyes that they're saying, we're going to destroy your industry. Because it won't be now. Everyone on this show right now, it won't impact you. Carlito, it won't impact you. But your son, it'll impact him. Me, it will probably won't impact me, but my children, it will. So this industry in 30, 40 years from now, if this stuff starts passing, you talk about preserving the industry. That is going to kill the industry. The federal stuff is one thing, huge win, amazing. But the state stuff is the easier thing to pass. And that's really what kills you, because it could be fine federally. But at the state level, if you can't buy cigars somewhere, in New York, and we'll get into New York on a more positive light soon, but New York was an amazing, amazing industry for premium tobacco. And in the past 2-3 years, we've seen major cigar lounges closing, historic cigar lounges closing. And I don't know what the representation is in New York, but it's just sickening how that state has changed in this industry. And now that when it's at its weakest point is when this is being proposed. It's sickening to me. And, this isn't supposed to be a sad show or like a stressful show or an angry show, but it's like, just to echo what Carlito said, the importance of consumers getting involved, because the consumers are the vote. When politicians are doing this stuff, it's speaking to the consumer, the average voter. And it's important that you're involved and you at least know what's going on. And, when we're in those cigar lounges, it's all like-minded people. Everyone gets it. But when you leave that lounge and you go to the public, that's when it's important. If you see this on the ballot, if you see someone talking about it, just take the time to just say, you know what, you're wrong. And the argument's very simple, at least from the layperson sense, at how premium tobacco, you don't need the FDA statistics, you don't need the medical history, you don't need any of that stuff. It's just tell them why you smoke cigars. Because at its core, that is the favorable facts for this industry in this argument, is why you smoke cigars. It's a want, not a need. And I think that's what I'll leave that at, because maybe at a different show I can go deeper into the political scrutiny of it. But it's like, it's this industry.
No, wait, let me just say something. I know this is Matthew's show, but...
No, you guys, go ahead.
No, thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know why you're not Speaker of the House. But seriously, I have not heard someone say in such few words what we together as an industry has been telling the representatives that make the laws and so forth. What you have just said, we have not been able to put it in just what you have done, Pat, for me. Why, again, I say that programs like this are so important. Why I share them when I see them posted. Because it's not to hear about a cigar, or we're talking, even though this is a cigar platform, but the information that's being given out today is something that's so impactful if people hear it, because you have touched because you could continue, because I'm sure that if you had another 5 or 6 hours, because I know you got more surprises after the show, but you said something in your conversation telling us about what's going on, about those moments with your father, and how you never saw him because he was hardworking and so forth, and like a normal hardworking head does. But later on, you were able to have special moments enjoying a cigar. And those moments are more meaningful to you than all the time that pained you because your father was not there. And you said something with this generational supposed ban and all these things that are happening. for people to be aware. And I think the most important thing that touched me is, and you said us, but it's not us. It's every single person who was able to enjoy a cigar at one special moment, whether it was at your wedding, whether it was on the birth of your first child, or whatever it was that captured that moment, you were with someone special, that was the bond. You are taking that privilege away from your grandson or great-grandson or anybody to follow. And I think that that's the most important point that, to me, that I capture, aside from the way you put everything together, to lose it, because it's not us. It's not the ones that are enjoying the cigars. It's not the cigar manufacturer. You just said we'll all be okay. We will survive. We'll end up being on beaches somewhere and eating oysters and New England lobster and Maine or something. But we'll survive. And our children will survive because we worked hard. But the future generations will not have the privilege to have a memory that I had enjoying every cigar, or after every one of my 4 children, which cigar I smoked. They won't have that privilege. They won't have that privilege of cigars smoked with my grandfather, the memory of with my father, with my friends, all those special memories. They won't have that life, that wonderful life, because those that understand our world realize that some of our happiest moment, there was always a cigar in our hand. Thank you.
So I have something. You guys actually did me a favor because I was trying to get something to work here, and it bought me some time. But I think I got it to work now. So if you guys don't mind, I do have a video that I do want to play. If that's okay with you, Carlito. I think you'll like this.
Of course. There's no children watching.
No, it's appropriate. It's okay. It's on theme.
And I can segue into. So, I mean, I can segue in at this point.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about New York, but, back to the point that I was making is what this industry is. Carlito has done a very special thing for a very pinnacle moment in this country, a very tragic moment in this country. And this project is exactly what this industry stands for. And you have the box there, Matt.
Brand new. Carlito, tell us about this.
Well, I can tell you exactly. I remember protecting that box very, very properly and having it FedEx to Tampa, Florida, and make sure that Richard Dolak sent it to you next day air. And I could guarantee you that's the first box that entered the United States of America.
Wow. That is nuts.
That's what that is.
That's nuts. This is thank you very much for that, by the way. That's even more special.
It's the honest truth. It's the honest truth. You asked me, what is this? I just wanted to say, because it looks like a beautiful cake, but I can't see it from here. It's beautiful.
It really is. Beautiful. All made in-house in the Fuente Box Factory in Santiago.
Every single detail. I know that it's going to be difficult to see in the screen. I brought. It's going to be my first look. And it's a heavy box. I know you're strong, Matthew. You're strong, but it's a heavy box, and you can see there, Home of Heroes.
Do you want
to? 2001.
What do I do?
You can hold this up.
I don't know. I've never done this before, and I don't intend to take Pat's place. So, or Nicole's. Wait a minute. See, I
It's
don't even know
tricky.
which way to go. Okay, wait. Hey, oh, this way. Hey, it's opposite. Wait,
It's backwards.
You know about this already, right? You've done
Oh,
this
yeah.
before?
I've done this a few times.
Okay.
I had to do the. You know when I got good at this? Do you remember the? Do you remember the fundraiser we did for several years? We had to show out like all the prizes and stuff.
course,
I had to when I had to showcase like hundreds of things. I got good at it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, it's okay. This is something that was very special to me, and though many that are listening today are longtime friends that we met, like I said earlier, through a cigar, but they're friends that have been with me through thick and thin, and we go back a long time. A lot goes to this beginning of Cigar Family, the first bulletin board, really cigar page or whatever it was in history was Cigar Family, and that grew into different things. And I know they're listening to me, and they know because they were there with me. This is a project that you just showed. So that they don't forget, so that no one forgets. We spoke about that earlier in the program. It's just the way I think. I know where I was at on September 11th, 2001. I know exactly where I was at. I knew what I was doing. We went through a lot, and I was not in New York, so I don't want anybody to think that I was in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, on the way to a board meeting with Robert Levin and Hoax, a company that owns Ashton Cigars. My father and I were at the Ritz-Carlton. We're coming down the elevator. They're going to pick us up at 8:15 or 8:20. We're coming down, and we're waiting right there in the lobby, and all of a sudden people are screaming. And this is the Ritz-Carlton was a big bank at one time. And the center is beautiful, open with it's beautiful. There's a whole big lobby area that with years they made a bar there. And during this time there was a bar, but it was 8-something in the morning. There was nobody in the lobby. At night, it's a place you want to be in downtown Philly. But we were there, and right nearby, the City Hall and everything, all the, the Constitution, it was the first capital, everything is historical where Ritz-Carlton's at. We get out of the elevator. We're waiting for Robbie. It's Robert Levin, but to me it's Robbie. He always be my Robbie. And all of a sudden people say, turn on the TV station. Listen, and people screaming and this and that. And we saw the first tower on fire. And we were there watching everything. The panic all over the city. We were executed out of the hotel. There was panic. They were concerned with for some reason there was information. And it's going to Bell, you have all this thing. It was the first capital, whatever. And like 93 fell in Pennsylvania, but we understand it was supposed to be going to the White House. It took us 3 days to get out of there. They had to take us outside to the suburbs and something because it was Philadelphia. We never had the board meeting. I have to say that Robbie Levin was with us the entire time. We were on the suburbs in some house hidden, and he was with us. And his family gave us support. It took us 3 days to get out. But because think about it, this time, we were on the first American airline flight that left Philadelphia. The first flight, one of the first flights that was able to leave the United States, but it did not fly within the United States. The Continental, it flew to San Juan. We were able to get to San Juan. We would spend the night at San Juan, and we waited until someone helped us to get a flight, private flight, to get into the Dominican Republic. Why? because these are things that a lot of people don't know. What when you make cigars and you live away from home, offshore, all these sacrifices from a lot of these cigar makers and families. Why did we have to get back? Because my father and I were together in Philadelphia. We had to get back because we have small children at home. We were living we were outside the United States in the Dominican Republic. We had small children. We had our wives, and we had a company we had to get to because my father and I, we were everything. We did everything together in that company. We were there, and we had good people with us, but we couldn't be gone too long, and we had to get back. And we were on the first flight. I never forget. But I don't forget also how it changed our country, how everything changed after 9/11, 2001. I don't forget not only all the regulations and the TSA and the fly, everything that's changed, the families, the stories. I was one of the manufacturers of cigar makers that was part at an event that we went to New York City. This is important because this also supports why I'm speaking the way I'm speaking. We were asked by Marvin Shank and Cigar Aficionado, who was in the very beginning. This was, it's 2001. At the Marriott Marquis, where we used to have 2 sessions. Well, first we were asked, all the major cigar makers, and you know who they are. Marvin said, you guys have to support and come to New York. It's empty. We're scheduled for a big smoke, and the Marriott Marquis is empty. It was just, he called us in October because the event was in November. You have to come because we have to support New York. Not one person said no. When there were no flights, when things were different, you're talking about, this conversation was in October. When everything was going down, everybody said, we'll be there, Marvin. We're going to go to New York. That's what this project represents. It's not only for a few people in New York who were very close. It's not for the ones that were nearby. This is more than that. This is heart and soul. They told us never forget. Never forget. It's 25 years. 25 years. I know we've talked a lot about every product. It's come out with a 250-year celebration. And in 2001, going back with my conversation, Marvin asked us to go to New York. We went to do an extra session, and every one of my colleagues, everyone said yes, when no one was taking any risk. And we were asked to have a special session just for the first responders of Ground Zero. I remember Mayor Giuliani was there. Of course, the person that sang the 7th inning, the beginning, God Bless America in Yankee Stadium. It's the moment, man, I don't know what to compare it to, but I've never lived in my life. That moment when the first responders came to a session that Marvin asked us to go and support, to get a cigar from us in gratitude and whatever they had there that night. I never forget, and I will never forget, this is what this is all about. To give someone a cigar and look at a young man that could have been my son, who I had met before in other big smokes, who was a cigar smoker. Or he enjoyed cigars. Look at me, take out give me his badge, take off his hat, whatever it was, give me something, a little clip, because they all used to have these little clips of 9/11 New York, whatever it was, the little things you put. Give me this. I had so many of them. I knew that person, but what I was going to get to, when I held them and looked at him, I wasn't looking. He didn't have a soul. He didn't have a soul. He looked at me with glass eyes. You think I'm going to forget? That's why this is so important to me. Those families and everything that my country went through, the first responders, the families, but everyone, I felt that we were going to get, or that occasion that marked my life and marked so many people was going to be forgotten with 250 years of celebration of America. Going back to 2001, we, Cigar Family, was the supportive Cigar Family and everything, and what I created, we came out with a Fuente Pacheco's Cabinet Opus 8. The cigars are 9.5 by 47 inch. This program's not about cigars, it's about history, but so people know. In a slide top, in what they call a coffin. I don't like the word, but that wasn't my word. It was a little slide top, but they call it coffin. And each cigar was printed New York City of Heroes. The coffin was printed God Bless America. I remember all these things. I mean, all these moments and everything. It meant so much to me. And in one day, I know that I think it was $50 per cigar. In one day, $50. I forgot, a box of the 20, figure it out, okay? But it was $50 for one day. 3-4 stores in New York City, 3 or 4 stores, the day before the big smoke, we shipped the cigars. We called them up, says, this is for 9/11. Help us out and everything. This is a donation. Those cigars, we raised $50,000. And Robert Levin, the owner of Ashton, my partner, my friend for all my life, he gave $5,000 extra. And I remember that Mayor Giuliani went around, knew that we were raising money for the kids. This is a commemorative cigar of 9/11. I mean, not for the kids, for the first responder, because I have the Cigar Family Charitable Foundation. I'm always thinking about the kids. But this was for the first responders. And I remember Mayor Giuliani, we gave him $55,000. And I never forget. I know, Pat, politics is not about the show, but I never forget, and this has nothing to do with political party. But this is history, because I believe that if you don't document history, somebody's going to erase it and you'll regret it one day. But anyway, I remember giving him $55,000, and there was about $800 in cash. And he said, no, I can't take this. He was with all his staff and everything and whatever. He said, I can't take. I said, what do you mean? This is a donation, 9/11. We just went through all this stuff. And he said, no. And I remember going to my little carry-on, getting my little check, giving him the money, him giving me giving him the check, and he gave me the cash. But, even though I don't, when you asked me if I had time or if I would come on, at that time I didn't even know this project. I wasn't even thinking about it. But now that we've gone into this conversation, I wonder if it wasn't meant to be. If it wasn't meant to be that you received the first box and so forth. But when I look at this and I look what it represents, and I see these 2 cigars in the center, that's the first time in history that I'm aware of. I don't know. Let me just say, I've said too many times in the past, first time in history. First time in my family's history, because we make our own molds, we do our own shapes, a completely square cigar. The 2 cigars in the center represent the Twin Towers. Everything here was something from every little detail. The name of the cigar was Cillian. This, I don't know if you, wait, I forget. I don't know how to work these computers. I don't know if you can see or you can't. There's reflection. Wait, hold a second. Wait, I'm going the wrong way. I gotta go. I got it in my mind. That's why I thought my hat was tilted. Okay, good. Stars and Stripes.
There you go.
Stars and Stripes. The Stars and Stripes was born. If you've been to an event and everything, you see a little sign. If you've been to our building, you see the Stars and Stripes. You know what the Stars and Stripes represent to me. The Stars and Stripes was created for 9/11. 25 years later, it's gone on a cigar. And I'm going to tell you exactly when. Well, we were in Philadelphia. We got the first American airline flight. And I remember the arguments and the nervousness, and employees will come with an ID. And the person is there, security, no, you can't come in. What do you mean? This is my flight. No, and someone else. It was a mess. People were scared. American Airlines. But my father and I were concierge key. We both had so many miles and everything. We were loyal. We always have been loyal. American Airlines is important to us. And American Airlines was the one that took us home from the Dominican Republic for years and years. It was American Airlines. American Airlines was more important than our car. That was our gateway home. So it meant a lot to us. Everything you put, all this history and all these emotions together. After 9/11, American Airlines, my father and I said, what can we do? What can we do? Everybody, every person that this occasion, whatever, every person that they touch, in some way, what could we do? What could we do? So my father and I, what could we do? We say American Airlines. American Airlines lost 2 flights, lost this. We were an American Airlines, all this stuff. And we know all the pilots. We know the flight attendants. This is part of our life. My father and I were flying 1 week here, 1 week me. We're going here. We're traveling, doing all these promotions, whatever. American Airlines was very important to us. What could we do? So we came out with an ad, the father and son ad, the historic father and son ad, with the Opus X. Some people said that bat signal in the sky. But instead of the red X, we decided to put Stars and Stripes. I wanted for people to know American Airlines, and the employees. I wanted to know that we felt and we supported them. And the bottom was a little, the little ribbon that curls with Stars and Stripes, and United We Stand. It was something different, but it was the father and son. We never, ever have gotten so many calls. So my father and I, so many people trying to reach out to us that has seen this. More than any publication, more than anything that's ever happened to us. And this wasn't the intention. And the people that we got the calls from, not only passengers, families of flight attendants, pilots. It was incredible. And we said, well, we thought, my father and I, we couldn't afford this. Or we didn't think it wasn't our market. We did it for American Airlines, and we did it for 9/11 and the first responders and everything that we suffered through. And we understood, we felt bad that they were going through this pain. What could we do? We started with that. We thought, to be honestly, and whatever, I don't know how to say the word, to be real, the facts are that maybe we'll do this for a month because this is too expensive. That's not our market. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. We got so many calls. It was on there for 20-something years in the back page. Until COVID came, which 20 years or whatever, from 2001. COVID came, and they said, no more magazine, because all the airlines reducing. It was for 2001. This, if you, every little detail here, it's a story. 25 years later. 25 years later. And I really felt, because remember, I was there. We did this fundraiser, Cigar Family and all the people. And I knew, and maybe this is something I heard from my father or my mother, whatever it is. I knew people are going to forget. And at that time, I was instilled by everyone, by every news media, by every politician, everybody who had a chance to reach out. Never forget. Never forget. People cannot forget. There are people today who are 35 or younger that have no idea what the hell happened. They cannot forget. And I don't want to be a contributor that people forget. And 250 years, I don't know, and I've said this before, and I don't know if I should say it, but you know what? This program today has really brought, it's given me satisfaction. I'll be able to say things that I really want to tell the world. I don't know where I was 250 years ago. I don't know which testicles, and I don't know which tree, and I don't know which continent. I don't know. I respect the United States of America, the greatest country in the world. But I felt that 9/11 was going to be forgotten, the 25th anniversary. I reached out. Is it? I don't know. I'm looking at the computer.
I think you have it back. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
We got it too.
Okay. I reached out to the directors, the heads of the New York Port Authority. New York Port Authority. To the New York Police Department and to the New York Fire Department. I reached out, and you see it says never forgotten, because I was told never forget. I want people to know they're not forgotten. And so you have 3 badges. It says God bless our heroes. If you lift up a little bit, you'll see, oh, is that me? Oh, I didn't know.
No, it's Pat. I got Pat modeling for you.
Okay.
Pat's doing the modeling.
Hey. Okay, so you see 9/11 and you see an infinity symbol. It's all through there. And the infinity, never forget, forever. And you see little stars, and you see a lot of different numbers. As many numbers as possible that's still eligible. To me, this is the most important part of this entire project that I've been thinking about for so long. Those numbers, I reached out to each of those institutions and asked for who they remember. Just, there's so many of them, but I couldn't put them all. First responders from each of those, from the fire department, from the police department, from all the different institutions that were there. Who were the first responders? Who were the ones that lost their lives? And they gave me names and numbers. And I told them, no, we don't want names, because that's very sensitive and everything. And I felt very, very concerned how they would feel with this project, was going directly with these people. And they all gave me a support that, God, man, this is the best thing to happen. We're very happy. And they gave me all the names and numbers. Those numbers represent Port Authority, which Port Authority, their office was in the Twin Towers. They were the first. New York Police Department and New York Fire Department. There's so many more people came from all over. We all know that. But it just was impossible to put it in this piece of paper, in the printer. Those are actual numbers of the first fallen, first responders. I wish that I could put a book inside here with everyone. But it's them, because that's the numbers and the badge numbers. These are badge numbers. Their badge numbers were provided to me. We should never forget. We were told never to forget. And I know what this will represent, I feel, to all the families. And everybody understands the meaning of this. I hope they understand. This is something that I feel responsible to be a voice. Just a humble cigar maker, like I've always said, to be a voice of how that changed so many people's life. And we should never forget. And never, never allow it to happen again.
Just such an amazing. I don't even know how to follow up with that. I mean, it's.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to follow up.
That's
You know what?
that's incredible.
I
It really
wanna
is.
see what's inside, man. I'm going to smoke a cigar. I've been wanting this moment. This is history. I'm gonna enjoy a cigar with you. Like the first look at this. Yeah, I don't know how you do this, whatever, but
That really is
I'm gonna
special.
light it up.
That really is special.
And you know, one of the
Again-
things I don't
No,
want to
I'm
interrupt
sorry.
you, Carlo.
Okay, Pat. I'm sorry. Again, what did Pat say earlier? You capture a memory. You capture a moment. The cigar is that spiritual vehicle that connects the dots to those special moments that made you memories, because this is 9/11, but yet again it could be a celebration and everything else. That's what a cigar means to me, and I'm sure to many, many, many others. I'm sorry, Pat.
No, I mean that was exactly what I was gonna say. You know, it goes back to, and it just happens that New York is the state we were talking about tonight with the generational smoking ban. But it's, you know, that's what this industry is. You know, and you just gave a amazing story about what happened and your experiences. And you know, I'm sure when you smoke that cigar right now, you know, all the effort you put into it and your experiences into that cigar, you know, you'll relive that moment you had. And you remember it. And that's, again, like from the tastings I've done, like that's common in everyone, is you have a cigar and it brings back memories, because again, it uses all 5 of your senses and it brings you back to somewhere. And you know, I think that this is a really special project. And you know, one of the easy things to do this year was a 250th anniversary cigar, because you know, obviously that's a huge milestone for the country. But the fact that you remembered and you went out of your way to make sure that this was what Fuente was presenting for this year is special. And I don't think there's any other company that did a 9/11 cigar, frankly.
I'm trying to think, and I
there
don't think
is.
so.
And I think it's special. And you know, telling your story, and again, that's why I love podcasts, because we talked about erasing history, and you know, one of the great things about podcasts is this is documented. And this story can be listened to again in the future. And it's, you know, hopefully, you know, when my children have a cigar, they can look back at this and listen to this and relive this moment with me. And it's very special, Carlito. And, you know, I can only imagine what went into this. And frankly, this is probably one of the questions I have for you in making this cigar is, you know, obviously what this cigar stands for. You know, how did you go about making this product? We talked about the packaging, but the tobacco, the blending, the process. How long did you spend on this, and how much stress is there that, you know, this is for what this stands for? You know,
That's great, Pat. That's great. That's a great question. I'm smoking one now. It's scary how good it is. It's really, really good. You know, you asked a question, but I like to get back to that. I like to get back to that and tell you the whole process and all that. But I wanted to add to what you said earlier, so people understand. The most important thing about this project is for people to know that we remember. $11 for every box, because there's foundation called Tunnels to Towers. I'm sure many have heard about it.
I have.
They do so much for those the veterans and those that from really it was born out of the foundation of the tragedy of 9/11. $11 per box is going for Tunnels to Tower to get the story out about 9/11. But also, for me, it's a great privilege. I'm launching this project. A lot of people are finding out about it the first time now. But this project is being launched in New Jersey on September the 9th. In September the 10th, it's a charity event. I forgot to say, charity. On September the 10th, I'll be in New York. The event is taking place in Brooklyn, a big place. And we will be there. I will be there. We donated this project because it's a fundraiser for the families. It's called Hopes for Heroes. It's the other organization that supports the families, the fire department, the 3 and others of the first responders. I'll be in New York City. To me, it's a huge honor. But the story has to continue. People can't forget. And then on September the 11th, I'll be in Fort Bragg. To me, that's an incredible honor to talk about this product, to share these cigars, and to say thank you. Say thank you to these great men and women. To me, this is very, very important. So you asked about the blend and the tobacco and everything. I think you know this already. And I think Matthew's looking down because he's probably laughing, and everybody will tell you. It's fucking delicious. Trust me, I'm smoking. The cigar is so good. It's as good as I can make. It's as good as I can make. It is not mild. It's Sinopus. And at that time, I picked the tobacco from our farm, from the different lots. At that moment, like every time I do anything, at that moment, it's the best I'm capable of making. Then the rest of it, I leave it up to the Lord. I pray, and hopefully we leave them for a year and a half and everything in the aging room, that the little fairy godmothers and everything, they come in and they do their work and everything, because you never know what's going to happen. And every time, I've been blessed. I lit the cigar up. For my taste, I wouldn't change nothing. This cigar is full flavored. It hits you the sweetness. It's got the spice. I'm not Jose Blanco. Okay, Matthew.
Jose Blanco.
Okay,
here we go.
Okay. Hey, but you know why? Shout out to Jose Blanco. He's an incredible human being. I love him. He's incredible in every way. Shout out, because right now for him, I don't know what time it is, probably 3 a.m. or 4, whatever. Tomorrow he'll be watching this, because
he will.
I never met another person who's on top of everything looking. He's incredible. So a shout out.
Oh, Carlito, I watched that show last night.
I was waiting for that. Hey,
I can't help it. It's too fun. I love Jose too much.
No, keep going. Because Pat is not the only one that contributes entertainment to this program. If not, we're fucked.
It's funny. I wish
Coño, finally, I get you laughing. Come on.
Oh, man.
You told me in the beginning there was a conversation.
I love Jose. I love Jose. I do. I love Jose very, very much. And him and Coop are very, very close too. And it'll be funny because Coop will talk to me and he'll be like, "Oh, I was talking to Jose," and then he'll be like, "Oh." And Coop will do it too. He'll be like, "Well, Matthew, he'll do it on the phone and be like, "Yeah, Jose, was saying this," and I'll be like, "Oh, that's interesting." Go, "Oh, Matthew, those guys over there in Germany, they know what they're doing."
Oh, man.
Yeah, Jose's sleeping. Coop talked to him because Coop talked to him about the show, and he was like, Oh, okay. Oh, what time is the show? Oh, that's too late. I'm gonna be in bed. I'll have to watch it the next day.
That's what he told me. I said, Jose, you're gonna be on tonight. Don't forget tonight's the show and everything. Make sure you share it and people, because he's very much aware of it. And he said, no, I'm gonna see it the next day. Because he sees all your shows. No, he's a great guy, man. He's a great guy.
He's gonna text me tomorrow. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I heard that show, and you were making fun of me." And I'm gonna be like, "It was Carlito. He brought it out."
No. That's my job. I get paid a lot of fucking money to bust Jose's balls, man. That's my job. But let me tell you something. He bounces it right back, so I can say whatever I want because tomorrow he's telling me, "Oh man, you took your medicine." You remember that, right? Every show, Meet the Professor. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Old man. Not old man. Old man. Did you take your meds? Did you take your medicine?
Is he older than you?
No, I'm older than him.
Really?
Yeah. I'm saving your life. I'm
Okay.
making him feel good, so he doesn't bust your ball tomorrow. He's just a couple of years older than me.
Huh.
But why? He looks younger than me. Now the conversation will get going.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think he does. They it's in that water over there in Macedonia.
No, I think I know. It worries me. You're not the first person that tells me that Jose Blanco looks a lot younger than me. Don't feel bad.
They got the Fountain of Youth over there. You know what I mean?
Found the Fountain of Youth.
Arnold Serafine.
But that's important that you mentioned that and all that because everybody loves Jose Blanco, everyone, and that's what our world's about. We all get to know each other, we become friends, we joke about each other, we bust each other's balls, and hopefully people don't get offended by that term, but that's just the way we speak to each other.
It is.
And we punch each other and we laugh it off and we hug each other and we love each other.
It's
That's
true.
what we're all about. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Jose is great at that too, and it makes being around him so much fun. I always laugh, and I always tell the story from when we got to Vegas like 3 years ago for PCA, and I was in the airport. We got in late, and I was at the
Vegas?
Yeah, at the Vegas airport. And we're at the baggage claim, and I'm sitting there waiting, and who do I see come moseying around the carousel? It's good old Jose Blanco. And I go, "Hey, Jose, what are you doing?" And he sees me, and he just goes, "Matthew, hello, how you doing?" He comes over, and he goes, "Jesus, you put on some pounds." and then, you know what he does? After he insults my weight, he goes, "Listen, I don't have any cigars. Can I get a cigar off of you so I can smoke when I get to the hotel?" I'm there in the airport opening my suitcase so I can get it. How about this? Nah, I don't want that. Oh, tatuaje, I'll take that. Okay. All right, I'll see you later.
Matthew, don't tell me that. You too? I hear everybody who meets him, he bums a cigar from him.
Yeah. And then, so I gave him a tatuaje, and then we're at the hotel a couple hours later. We're down at the bar, and Pete Johnson sees me. He goes, "Hey." I was like, "Hey, Pete." He goes, "Thanks for giving Jose Blanco a tatuaje." I was like, "Oh, he told you." He's like, "Yeah."
No, that's great, man. That's great. That goes to show you, because if Jose hears this tomorrow, not because I'm waiting for him to hear it, but I know this. I know that everyone in the industry respects Jose, loves Jose. Jose's friends with everybody. And, that's very big of Pete Johnson. I know Pete Johnson, man, I was just showing a photo of him to someone that when he met us, my God, he was a kid. But that shows how he's growing, what a big man he is. That someone like Jose Blanco gives you a cigar, you give it to Pete Johnson, and he says that to you. Jose, he says that about Jose. To me, that really shows how big Pete Johnson is.
Yeah.
They pay tribute to the man, because Pete Johnson didn't need to do that. Pete Johnson is Pete Johnson. But that was very, very nice, and that shows how this younger generation, or my generation, even though I'm the old man, I still have the mind of those guys. How we respect we respect those that were there before us. And I think that's very, very important. That's something Jose says all the time. He said in every program, don't forget those that were there before us. Who's the one that delivered these values to us and taught us these things? Don't forget them. Don't forget the ones that really sacrificed and why we're here today. Don't forget the knowledge that comes back generations from someone's sacrifice. The knowledge that the future generations are learning from. Don't erase history. Learn from it. Use the experience of those that have been through it. Basic things that people that are very, very intelligent talk about every day. It's just very, very basic. And I think that with Pete Johnson, that expression and everything, man, Jose really gave you the cigar. Wow, gave you my cigar?
Well, I gave it to him, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but he said Jose gave you my cigar. That Jose had the cigar. Oh no,
I gave him a tattoo. Well, right, I gave him. Right. I said, "You want this one? No. You want this one? No. Tatuaje? Oh, I'll take that."
Exactly. No, I gave him
yeah.
Exactly. Yes, he picked Tatuaje, and Pete Johnson looked at that. That means a lot, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Jose is. I mean, he's the greatest. You know, he's humble about it too. You know, he's always saying, "I'm still learning every day," and I'm like, I know.
A lot of Jose's in the cigar industry. Are you speaking about Jose Blanco?
Jose Blanco. Yeah.
Humble?
Yeah. At least to me, I don't know.
Well, I don't know, man. He's a professor. I don't know as far as knowledge and experience. No, Jose's amazing. I'm joking.
Or as Arnold Serafine says, the nutty professor Jose Blanco needs his beauty sleep. He's always teaching me something. I'll tell you. I'll have a question. I'll ask him, and he'll respond, and he'll give you the detailed explanation as to who, what, where, and why. But a lot of the times, I'll ask him something, and I'll be like, what do you know about this cigar, or whatever? And he'll tell me, and then he'll go, just smoke the fucking thing. Hey, it's a good cigar. Just fucking smoke it.
You like it, you don't like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Oh, but he has a world of knowledge. But yeah, we have a lot of. When we're together, we have great times, great conversation. But he's not humble, and nobody's a better ball buster than him. He's the funniest guy. No, seriously. So don't defend him so much. Okay? He can handle his own. Yeah. No. I've learned so much from him, and he's just a great guy, and he's got a heart of gold. He's so honorable. He's got so much integrity. In a selfish way, from old school. I'm going to use these words, but he's kind of like a man's man, somebody that you respect, you look up to, because he's earned it. And he's a funny guy, but not humble. No, not by any means. No, he can hold his own and everything. There's not a time with him that he's not joking with me or trying, like we say, busting my balls. He's the best, man. But as far as work, as far as not with Fuente recently, his reputation from the people the companies he's been before, who I knew them all, as far as his integrity, his reputation, the admiration they have from him, the best. A great guy. Like, not the only one, a great guy like many others in this industry. But Jose checks off every square, whatever they do it.
I mean, he's worked for some pretty reputable families too. He's worked for the Carrillos. He worked at Joya de Nicaragua. I mean, he's been around. I mean,
oh man, he ran Presidente Beer, all the promotions and everything. Presidente Beer.
I forgot about that.
That's where he gets his humor from, because as serious as he looks and everything, he has a dark side. Imagine this. Not that he told me. Imagine this. I don't know. Maybe he was in his late 20s, 30s, or whatever, 30-something. He's running all the promotions of Presidente Beer. You know who consumed alcohol in this country 40 years ago? Every neighborhood, all the stuff, the dark life and everything. That's where he had to go sell it. He became the number one man. The number one man. The stories you hear from him and everything is crazy, man. You'll laugh. The promotions when he was with the rum, with the rum and the Presidente, with Brugal, with Presidente, the promotions, the people used to work for him, the nicknames, the stories. If you understood the language and the culture here, you'll die laughing. Jose could write a whole novel and it'll be a bestseller. He's incredible. Someday you have to, hopefully you're able to spend time with him. Is you as well, Pat, one-on-one, without all the pressure of people being around and everything, and get to know him and start busting his balls, because that's what he likes. He opens up, tell you some of his stories and things that he lived. Could you imagine at that age representing a liquor company in this country? The kind of who were your customers? The places you had to go to deliver it and meet the owners of all these nightlife things. There's stories there, man. It'll blow your mind. I'm telling you. This cigar world and the characters that make up this movie of the cigar world one day, it's mind-boggling. It really is. So many characters.
I texted him. I said, Carlito says I need to hear some of your stories from back in the Presidente days.
No, but seriously, Matthew, there's so many characters here, all of them. In this industry and all that, everyone. That's the beautiful part about it. That those that love cigars, they're able to know the families, they hear the stories, the sacrifices. My colleagues as well as ours. And all these stories are so similar. This is an amazing, amazing industry that those consumers are part of this world. You think about this. It's very, very special.
It is very special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going back to Jose is a person that I learned a lot from, that's made me realize a lot of these things, that he wanted to go. He's the first one that told me I have to go on social media. He understood this, reach the future, the people, and this and that. I didn't know what that was. And during Meet the Professor, he started that. He called all our guests. He was the one that called every guest and everything. It was a professor. All he did was educate. And the same things in different words that we've been bringing up and speaking about today, Jose was telling the world. No secrets held back. We had programs with my competitors, my colleagues, many that I never even met before. Oh, maybe I saw them at an event and didn't realize who they were. I didn't associate the face with the brand. On our show, it was Jose who made all, because of Jose and because they knew the reputation of the Fuente family and so forth. But the thing that I want to emphasize is that people that I never really was close to, I heard their stories. It reminded me so much of my story. And with the same passion, the same love, there's so many great people in this industry. So many great people, many that people don't know. It's a beautiful industry, and because of Jose Blanco, Meet the Professor, and the people he invited, I got to meet so many people, hear the story, and realize it's 100 years ago, but it's so much of what we were 100 years ago, my family, and hear these stories and the passion they have. And then I started getting respect. My mindset started changing. People that I thought were many that I thought, I don't know you, you're not in my team or my league. Or when I say league, I don't mean in my status as far as a manufacturer. I'm talking about in the cigar world or whatever. I don't know. through Jose Blanco, I got to meet so many people. And to me, that changed my mindset, like I said earlier. I started realizing that everybody's important in this industry and everybody deserves a chance. And I started realizing that we're all one. That's when my mind started changing. Was losing my father, and during that time, shortly after COVID and this transformation, and I started thinking that way. We're all one. And I started realizing the mistakes of the industry in the past. The breakup of the original Pro Cigar. The fights in Tampa with one manufacturer and another. The wars here in Santiago. Cigar wars. I started thinking about all the history and everything. And I don't want that to happen again. I want people to learn from others' mistakes. And so they have a possibility to have a future. That's why I keep reinforcing, I believe in the brick and mortar retailer. I believe in supporting them. You talked about Templo de Oro and so many other things that I released in December to help them finish their year. Because to me, there are families. This is all about families. We have to stick together. And the other cigar makers, through Meet the Professor that I was speaking about earlier, before my mind went this way, I really believe this, was Jose Blanco. I'm very grateful because everybody knows who the professor is. All it took is a phone call from him and they will happily participate. And I learned a lot through all those programs. Listening to what I thought were my competitors. They were no different than me and my dad. He was with his dad, the other with his dreams. That was me. That was me 50 years ago. And I believe that we have to, going back to what Pat says and everything, and I don't want to go into politics or what beliefs or anything, but we have to, it all goes to the same thing. For all this has happened through generation, through decades, centuries, cannot be erased. And the only way we'll keep it together is, like Pat said, is for everyone to be aware. This is a special industry. We should defend it, and others should learn from it. There's no other industry in the world. There's no other community. And I would like for someone to prove me wrong, like the world that I was blessed to be born in, the world of cigars, right now, this moment.
I'll just add with Meet the Professor show. I mean, just to kind of speak to what Jose did with that. I mean, so my big mentor in the cigar industry when I started was Kurt Kendall, and you know him very well, Carlito.
Yeah, of course, I love Kurt. Of course, we were there, and Kurt's the best. Another human being who has supported every event, every fundraiser, everything, which you know very well, who Kurt is in his heart. Cigar family from the beginning. If we do something for law enforcement or whatever it is that we're doing, Kurt, or vice versa. Kurt is an amazing human being. He has a heart of gold, and I can't wait to get up. One of the reasons I want to go, I want to give him a big hug. The only thing, I just always tell him, don't squeeze me, because I remember Kurt when he was, yeah, he's a tough guy. No, he's the best, man. I love him, but yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
And like one of the and with the charitable stuff with Kurt, I'll say, like, any local fundraiser that goes to Twins that needs something, he's never said no to anyone. He's shirt off his back. So there was one episode of Meet the Professor that Kurt was on. So then, me kind of being new at Twins, and I wasn't really overly passionate about the industry. I smoked with my dad, as I mentioned, but when it came to like the bigger picture,
But you
it
came
was.
in with the new, sorry, Pat. You came in with the new store, or you were at the
I was at Twins the entire time.
Okay,
At
wow.
Yeah, so when I was in law school, so I was there for about 5-6 years, but this was like in 2020 or like maybe early 21, and obviously I looked up the Kurt. And at the time I was a bar back, so I wasn't really I was dabbling in the tobacconist stuff, but I was there just because I happened to get a job there, and so and I wanted to be a tobacconist because of like the experience of my father, but I wasn't like it was very isolated. It was I enjoy cigars with my dad. I like cigars. I enjoy it. But the bigger picture, the bigger industry was an anomaly to me. I didn't know anything about it. And, Kurt was on Meet the Professor. So I tuned into it for the first time because I wanted to see Kurt on it. And then I was very fascinated by it. And I started watching all of the episodes. I watched each and every single one of them because I was addicted to it.
Really?
And that's kind of what, if you talk about what, granted, I maybe off-air story. I'm not doing anything like in the industry now when it comes to the law degree. But at the time, there was a period of time I was really geared towards like I'm going to figure out a way to get involved in this, and I want to fight. I want to get my education, and I want to contribute to this. And that drive was really raw, and it was a lot of passion. Frankly, even like I love what I do now, but the most passionate I think I've ever been for anything was when I was at Twins getting my law degree, because I felt like I was working towards getting something that would help an industry that matters. And that aside, to Jose's credit, I guess going back to the core point, is what he did with that show gave someone, in my position that was new to the industry, didn't know anything about it, it opened my eyes to what this industry is and everyone's individual stories. And like I said, like in my, like 2 hours ago, that spiritual aspect, how everyone's connected in this. And it just completely threw me into just wanting to just do whatever I can in this industry, be involved, be on podcasts, maybe one day lobby or be an attorney in the industry. Maybe it's yet to be seen, but just to be involved, because it's the only thing that I've experienced so far where everyone is happy, and it's not a need, it's a want. And I think Jose's show really showed me that this industry, it's real people behind these companies, and they're manufacturers, and it's not just a machine-made product. It's a handmade product. There's thought that goes into it. There's stories behind. Going back to what we talked about when the show first started today, is every cigar you smoke, there's a story behind it. You may not know the story, but there is one behind it. It's a family. It's legacy. It's tough times. It's perseverance, and all of that is what brings that cigar to the table today. And it's smoking any brand. Smoking a cigar, you feel that connection. And Jose really opened my eyes to that, and I just completely flew into this industry. It's just there's nothing else like it. Like you say, no one can convince me that there's an industry that's anything near what the premium tobacco industry is, because there's not. And it's very special. So Meet the Professor was an amazing project Jose did, and to the point that I made earlier about this show, how one of the great things about technology is this is going to be embedded in history. People can watch this in future dates. That's Meet the Professor. And anyone that's on the show tonight that hasn't seen Meet the Professor, I mean, you got to go back and watch, because it's amazing, and it's the stories. It really opens your eyes to this industry. Even like the hand-rolled documentaries, there's a lot of good content out there that just embeds this industry in history, and I think it's beneficial for every cigar consumer to watch that. And frankly, to my initial point about the consumer being educated to then fight these legal battles and these political battles, seeing Meet the Professor and then hand-rolled, it opens your eyes to what this industry is, and everything anyone needs in their argument to a politician comes from those sources, because it's just people making a product they enjoy that people can just take a couple hours of their day and relax. That's all this is.
true.
Absolutely. No question
true.
about it.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
so-
Pat, I, I don't know if I should do that after the show, but I'm very, very happy you mentioned Jose and the contribution he had to so many people during COVID when there was nothing to do. And I think a lot of us in the industry, inside the industry, recognize that something different happened during COVID for the cigar industry, how it grew, how people were building lounges or rooms in their homes and finding a way, how the industry grew. And Meet the Professor was during COVID. We were
It
every
changed a
day
lot.
locked up, and it was Jose Blanco who called me and convinced me I have to do this and this is that because we have to stay in touch with the people. And this, it was Jose Blanco that, how I mentioned earlier, that got me involved with social media, Instagram and Facebook. During COVID, so many people who enjoy cigars, I don't know how many people saw it, whatever. But to me, you have no idea what you have given me because of this invitation by Matthew Tobacco. What you have confessed to, that Meet the Professor, this conversation about cigars and knowing cigar people gave you comfort or gave you meaning or an understanding of different things. My interpretation, more or less, how it brought you more interested in cigars and understanding the world of cigars. That the impact that Jose Blanco had. To me, why I say this moment is priceless, because I believe Meet the Professor, that was Jose Blanco who really forced me into this, in this idea of communication in this program, and tell me and call me and ask me, are you going to feel bad if I invite so-and-so because he's very good and he's got a story? He was a cigar maker and never even knew who he was. Jose comes from good people, good integrity, this and that, no problem. We don't want our reputation. I speak for this person and this family. I know them. To know that Jose Blanco plays such a big role in changing my life and having an influence on some moment in you, which is all going back what I said in my very first conversation, what a cigar does, the moment. To me, I said why it's priceless, because if we could reach Meet the Professor, one person, two persons, on our Sundays and our moments and everything, that all we wanted to do is have a communication just like everyone else wanted to, because we were quarantined, we couldn't leave, it was through a computer. If one program, if you're the one that's testimony that one program touched someone in the world of cigars and really brought them closer to our world, then I think that Meet the Professor deserves recognition and not be forgotten also. Because I really believe, because I personally, as a cigar maker, I learned a lot with Meet the Professor, listening to my colleagues, listening to other journalists, listening to different people, anyone, and that was Jose Blanco who called them up and really was able to bring them on the show. Because Fuente was part of the show, and for many people, they might have seen that it was my show and this and that, but it wasn't that way. It was Jose Blanco. He was the one that made this happen. So it means a lot to me that you gave him recognition in this program that will be seen, hopefully, from my grandchildren and Jose's children and all of our children. Because I think tonight is one of those magic moments that is not planned. It's a call from a friend that says, listen, We haven't gone together in a long time. We haven't had a program in a long time. How about a date? And I think we shuffled months back and forth. This day we can't do this and that. And because I really want to do it, and I really want to find a date. I picked today because I thought today this and that, because I know tomorrow I have to fly out, so I have to be here to do my suitcase and all this stuff. But pick a date. But I believe myself personally, this is selfish. I think, as I'm speaking about what I feel, I think this program is one of those programs that I will be grateful for the rest of my life. That I felt comfortable, or maybe it was a moment in my life that I just wanted to speak. And possibly I said things that I may have repeated before, because history doesn't change. My memories don't change. They are reduced, so they're forgotten. But it's my life. And today, I don't know, maybe I was able to reach someone else with CRA, Cigar Rights for America, with the greatest country in the world, the Constitution of the United States.
Oh, no.
That's a tough time to break out.
Oh, I know. Right in the middle of that. Oh, he froze. No, no, no.
See, maybe his laptop died.
I was just going to say his laptop probably died. Sorry for the dead air. I'm trying to mitigate this problem. I shot him a text. We might have... his laptop might have died. I just told him, I said, we froze and then we lost you. Oh, man, that's too bad.
See, but I think, at its core, and I think I know where Carlito was going to go, but it's... I think one of the big takeaways from this episode that I think is really important is, and I think the New York, the political stuff going on just kind of got thrown into this because we're talking about New York, but it's
a hot topic this week. Yeah.
It is a hot topic, but it's like, I guess this is kind of like going back to your roots episode, like, kind of tethering yourself back in like what this industry is. And, I think that, for one, the 9/11 cigar really speaks to, like, the representation that this industry has and the care that it has. Like, this project, it's, in limited releases. I mean, you see a lot of those in the industry now, but, like, this isn't a limited, it's just your typical limited release. Like, this was made to honor people, and it was made to be enjoyed by people that were impacted by 9/11. And it's... Carlito could have used this tobacco, and he could have done anything with it. He could have done, and it would have made money. But he took the extra time that he didn't have to put into this project to make this cigar, because that's what this industry is. It's very spiritual. It's making memories. It's being with people, and it's remembering history. It's making history, and that's why, like, this cigar. I don't know how many of these boxes have been made. But
he told me, I want to say it's around 1,200, I think.
So very limited.
Very, very limited.
It just speaks to what this industry is. Like I was saying, it's you can take your personal experiences.
There he is.
And you can take the most recent experience, like this cigar here, and it's unbelievable. And honestly, like, you don't see. Like I have a Willet bottle in front of me. Willet's not making a 25th anniversary 9/11 bottle of bourbon to be enjoyed by people impacted by the tragedy. They're not doing it.
No.
It's only this industry, and it's because this industry, obviously, making money is part of life. You have to make money. You have to support your family, but that spiritual component of the premium tobacco industry is what sets that industry from everything else, because you're not just making a product to make money and support your family. You're making a product that you think will bring joy to other people.
That's right.
And that at its core is why projects like what Carlito did here is so special, because he didn't have to do it.
No.
He wanted to do it. Just like you don't have to smoke a cigar. You want to smoke a cigar. And being in an environment like that is what makes this stuff special. Because someone who was impacted by 9/11 directly may smoke this cigar, and it may bring back memories of their loved ones. It's unreal what happens when people enjoy a cigar. And I mean, it happens all the time with me. You know, there's certain cigars I had, because again, like as we mentioned earlier in the show, when do you smoke a cigar? Well, Matt and I and Carlito, we smoke them every day, but there's special cigars I have in my humidor that I keep for a particular reason. And, I don't even, I buy stuff, and like, I'll use a recent example. I was lucky enough to get a box of the LBMFs from that limited age release that Fuente did. And I have 3 cigars in my humidor. Rare cigars, they're very limited quantity. And I have no clue what the hell I'm going to smoke them. Like, I don't know when I will. I didn't get them for any particular purpose, but I bought them because I know that is a cigar I'm going to enjoy, and there's 3 of them. So at some point in my life, something is going to happen that I'm going to reach in and get that cigar, and I'm going to enjoy it with 2 other people, and I'm going to remember that moment. And that's why, this it happens to Carlito's on the episode, and everyone knows I'm a Fuente guy, but that's why I smoke Opus, because it's the first cigar. Going back into, I guess, the Pat history here, we talk about Jose Blanco and the Meet the Professor.
Mm-hmm.
The first box of cigars I bought at Twins was the Anejos. And for whatever reason, like my immature palate, it tasted different. I noticed it. At that time, I couldn't tell you why. Now I can tell you it's because of the cognac age wrapper, but it was special. And I bought the box, first box I bought. And I had some with my father. He liked them as well. And then he started finding out that Connecticut Broadleaf was his favorite, type of wrapper. And, it's I still have a box, a little bag of them. I probably have 6 of those cigars left. But those
from that box?
From that box. And those are tucked away.
Wow.
And I couldn't even tell you. I mean, you could offer me any cigar. You could offer me a box of these new 911 cigars, and I would not separate from those 6 cigars, because that was the first box that opened my eyes to what premium tobacco can taste like. And again, it goes back to like the LBMFs. I don't know when I'm going to smoke those 6 cigars. I don't know when, but I know when something special happens, those are in my humidor. And that's the component of this industry that is so unique, is you're buying something for basically a contingency. I don't know why I'm buying them. I just know that when something happens in my life that's meaningful, that is what I want to plan my experience around. And it's if you talk about like a bigger quantity, like you might have an everyday smoke that you enjoy. And there's one story, I want to say it was with Willie Herrera, that he said on a podcast. It could have been a Meet the Professor. I don't know if it was, but it was one of his interview podcasts, that the Herrera Esteli cigar, there was a story that he had where there was a father and son who would smoke that cigar together all the time. The son was deployed to service, and he didn't come back. And the father smokes that cigar to that day because it reminds him of that moment in time he was with his son. And it's just that spiritual connection is just, there's nothing else in life that I think brings people back to a time in their life. Because again, it uses all 5 of your senses. And when you enjoy a cigar that you had at a prior time, it brings you back. It's like why you go into a cigar shop and everyone, the first thing they say is, oh, this reminds me of my grandfather because it smells like my grandfather because he smoked cigars. And it brings people back to that point in time. And, that's why projects like this 9/11 25th anniversary cigar is so important, because it's it's something that people can have and they can enjoy with loved ones, and just sit and recall a time in their life that was very tragic behind closed doors together and talk about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to remembering. It's painful times. It's times people frankly probably don't want to relive, but you can't forget it. And I think this cigar is something that people can at least have a little smile on their face when they're going back and they're remembering what happened that day. And it's just it's special. It really is. And I think it goes beyond really the core component of the industry. I mean, this is extra special to be able to give people in the detail on the box, the presentation of the box. It's really like you're opening a memorial. It really is. The presentation, the way that those two Twin Tower cigars are presented, the flag, the badge numbers, and it's just and those are details that didn't have to be included. They didn't have to be. You could have just put an American flag in an Opus box. Never seen before in an Opus box. Oh my God, that's so cool. It didn't stop there. And I just, the fact that this is in existence, the presentation, it really is a memorial. And it furthers my point to why this industry is so unique and why it's so special and why it needs to be protected because of stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not greed, it's a want. And there's nothing else like that.
We got you back.
Yes. I apologize. Something happened. I don't know what it is, and I don't blame it on you. I ran out of batteries, whatever, on my computer because I never
Called
use
it.
it. I think this is like the first time I open it up in about 2 months or 3. But anyway, so I remember that we were speaking on the phone. I went and I got my iPhone, so that's why everything has changed for me. But I don't look like a little stamp anymore. I look like a big stamp. Everything is still small. But I could hear you. And going back to Pat, again, Pat, every single word that you said is something that I live, I know, I feel. It has to be said, but I don't have the eloquence to say it as well as you have. You touch so many things. But something that I keep going back to, you keep going back to a word that is an emotion. But it has to do with something, your organ, your mind. You keep going back to what cigars mean to you. It means to so many people. And so many things that all of us have said during this show or this program, what cigars mean to us or mean to others. Memories. You cannot buy a memory. You live a memory. Cigars. You cannot buy what cigars deliver. Cigars build memories. Priceless. And I think that's something that, without saying those words, I heard you say it many times. It's that moment. And going back and tying all the conversation, this is why, as a community, and even if you don't enjoy a cigar, if you believe in freedom, we need to be a voice. We cannot do it alone. We need a voice. Thank you very much, Pat. I learned a lot tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. That was good.
But the first one I have to thank, please. I'm sorry, because I know you're the conductor.
No.
I gotta say hello to Nicole because I know Nicole's not here. And Pat came in, and Pat today gave us all the masters in the world in the knowledge of cigars and what we're living and things like this, and the reality of cigars and what they mean to people. So Nicole, hope you get well soon, honey. I'm so sorry you don't feel well. I missed you.
But Pat, thank you for being here.
She really
And
wanted to be on.
tonight was the start tonight. No, I understand. Of course, and we miss her. But no, seriously, there are things that were said tonight that I would love for the world to hear. Not what I said, what you said, Pat. In so many ways, it really captures what I believe a cigar is, what a cigar means to me, what a cigar has contributed and been in every single way part of my life. And so much so that it was because of cigar. Cigar is the pen that wrote the book of my life story. And I think about, just like Matthew mentioned earlier, we just celebrated our 18th high school graduation and also a nursing graduation and a specialist in IT and everything. And this, it's the model of social responsibility in the United Nations, built by people who enjoy cigars. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that.
United Nations recognized charity.
It's incredible, but that's not. But the thing that was built by, not by Carlito Fuente, not by Eric Newman. That was built by the heart and soul of hundreds and thousands of people who enjoy cigars, who believed in this little boy and in Eric Newman or the Newman family and the group of people who believed in me. And we built something that's changed so many families' lives. This was done in 2 decades. You can't predict this. This is crazy. This is God's work. And it's all was going back to confirm and emphasize every letter that you spoke in your words, Pat. It was all through a cigar. Without a cigar, nothing would have happened. 18 graduations, a place where there was no schools, no running water, no roads, no electricity, the most violent area, because it wasn't even a community, in the Dominican Republic. Today is a model, and it was all built by people with big hearts who enjoy cigars. There's no politician going to speak about that if we don't tell the world who we are. And thank you very much for making that very, very clear. That I'm not the only one that thinks that way. Thank you. Thank you, Pat.
Nice, Pat. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, this was a great show. I mean, we covered...
Wait. Sorry. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. Yeah, Nicole. I'm not going to forget Nicole. I was waiting to see Nicole. Matt, no, don't go anywhere. I was waiting to see Nicole and everything, but because wait. One thing I want to say. You know, and Nicole knows how much I'm so grateful to the women who are in the cigar industry today.
Yep.
How grateful I am and how happy I am and how I celebrate and how I promote and how I defend women. Because I walk today into a cigar lounge and there are women there. And I don't want to leave. I buy one more drink or I buy one more cigar because there are women there. Women have been the greatest contribution in my last decade. Because I was going to say 20 years, but maybe people won't believe it. But it is. Last 10 years. Women, to me, have been the greatest contribution in so many ways. Things that my grandfather see, and my father just started to see a little bit. What's happened is a phenomenon. And I am very grateful that I see it. Because women, to me, have always been in my life. Women have been the backbone of my family. And every cigar factory that I was aware of when I was younger, and every story I heard, they were women. My grandmother's next to my grandfather, my mother next to my father. Without them, they would have never got off second base. Women have always been the one in the factories. Women were the ones that were working. Now to see women enjoying cigars, to me, it's another reason why I said we are living the best era of the cigar industry. Because we're starting to understand that we are all one. We're one community, one family. And if there's not women in that community, it's a world that I don't want to be a part of. That's one of the things that I am so grateful that I'm living, that era of the cigar world where women could stand next to a man and they could enjoy a cigar, or they could be without any man and they could go in a group and enjoy a cigar.
He's right. You ever been in a real factory?
No, it's not that I'm right. It's that it makes me happy.
No, I know, but I don't think you
Everyone-
haven't
okay,
been like in a big factory,
well,
right?
wait.
No, I haven't.
When you go into a real like factory, like his factory, majority of the people who work in that factory are women.
Always.
I've seen it. He's right. I mean,
everyone-
it's all
in
women.
In everyone's factory.
Yeah, that's what I mean though. Like in a real cigar factory, when you go in there and you see all those people, it's mostly women. I mean, it is. It's all women working in there, and let me tell you, they work hard and they work fast. They put a lot of people here to shame. I'm not joking. They don't fuck around.
No. Everybody, women and men, because we have men also. They all work very hard.
No, yeah, I know, I do. Yeah, I know.
I know you're joking. You're joking around, but women have always been a big part of the cigar industry. You go to the factory, they're enjoying cigars. I'm just happy that I'm living the segment of this world from when I was born, before the Cuban embargo, and lived the effects of the Cuban embargo alongside my father and grandfather as a very young boy. To be able to be in a world where women are able to go into a cigar lounge and enjoy a cigar, to me, that's it's an extra chapter that I'm able to live in my life that my grandfather never imagined that it was ever possible. And we're not going to go patent to science and everything that's going on, and we could go on forever and ever and ever. But my grandfather, and maybe my father, maybe into the last 2 years or 3 years of his life, that he went to some events and saw some women. But what's happened today, they could have never imagined. And that's, I don't know. But I'm sorry that they didn't live what I'm living today. I'm sorry that they didn't see it, because everything I do in my life, I want to share with my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, my father. I do. In prayers, spiritually, whatever it is. But it saddens me that because of whatever it is, we're living the best time of the industry. And if there's a message to be told from everything we've spoke about, is we have to protect it. And we have to defend ourselves. But most importantly, we have to wake up. We have to wake up. Because if not, everything you spoke about indirectly, everything I spoke about, memories, something you cannot purchase, priceless. Those memories that are so precious to you, me, and so many people listening, or those out there that have no idea we're having a conversation now. Those memories will not exist to future generations. And we have to, what we always all only want. We have to enjoy ourselves, enjoy our lives, and do what a cigar, the purpose of a cigar. Get together, have a conversation like now, enjoy life, meet friends, and capture memories. And I think that you really touch something that's very special. We're fighting for our memories, for the memories of our great ancestors or whatever it is, and the memories of future generations that we have no idea who they will be. We're fighting for humanity. That's what a cigar means to me. And I think you really brought that out of me today, that I hope I don't regret being so open, so sincere, opening what I feel when something's supposed to be entertaining and fun and everything, like Matthew Tobacco, because when I hear it, I enjoy myself, I have fun and everything. And Matthew, you two are a great ball buster. I'm not going to compete with you, but thank you very much for this evening. This cigar I will continue to enjoy. Pat, your words to me confirmed everything I believe in my soul, because I can't even say my heart. In the DNA, I don't know, it's deep. Confirmed every word I heard. You're an amazing human being. You're an amazing friend. I've seen you many times, and today I feel I got to know who you are. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I thank Nicole, too. And even though I know she's not feeling well, I hope she feels well soon.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. And sharing all of that, because you're right. Get it down. Get it down and record it and be able to share it with other people. Get your feelings and emotions out,
And I think these conversations need to happen more often.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think I'm going to try to censor myself a little bit here, but I think that
Don't ruin a good moment.
I won't. But I think that the representation of the industry needs to root themselves back to what the industry is.
Yeah. Well said.
Oh, wait, Pat. You're going somewhere. And I'm following you. Yeah, I'm following you, but I tripped. You kept going faster than I did. Finish, please. I'm asking you. Go back, start again, but finish the thought. Because this is important to me. Maybe this is not the moment, you want to do it off camera, but tell me what you feel, because we're learning.
It's up to you.
You're the host.
It's up to you.
No, but wait. Without mentioning names.
It's not names. I just think that.
No, philosophy. What do you think? Tell me, what do you think? What I want to know. What could we do better? What is it that we could do better? My community. What could we do better? What is it? Where are you going with your thought? Because I
gotta grab something, but you can say what you want.
No, wait. This is a conversation, right, Matthew? I felt Pat just stopped all of a sudden, that he felt, wait, maybe I shouldn't say anything. I think he has so much information inside him. No, but tell me, what do you feel? What could we do better? What are we doing wrong? In your just your opinion. That this is we could agree to disagree. It's your opinion. And I take it as love, as information.
It's I'm trying to think of how to do this the right way.
Oh my God!
It's not you.
Hey, this is explosive. Wait
Pat,
a minute.
Pat, do you want me to bail you out?
No, this is the money shot. I hope Coop's watching. Coop, this is the money shot.
Coop's gonna hear all about this.
I can do it.
Oh my God. Wait, you gotta think
Do you want me
about
to bail you
Oh,
out?
it's gotta-
I can say a little bit. I think off air I can go more into it. But
wait, you can say a little bit. It's got to be deep.
I'll tell you this much.
Maybe-
I think
I'll
the
say
summary-
I'll say what Pat is trying to dance around. I'll just say it because my name's over the door and I pay the bills.
They're come from New England, sir. Right? No, hey, no fear. Well, you help 'em out, man,
Sometimes-
but I want to learn something. Help them out, please.
Sometimes I think you have a responsibility as an organization that works to, represent and help defend the rights of cigar smokers, not just in the industry, but the consumers as well. And sometimes, and this isn't coming just from me, I'm going to make that very clear because I've written before and people come at me and I go, well, articles get written based off of things that many people say to me. Because that's my job as a journalist. But what I will say is right now there's a lot of hubbub going around that some people are just enjoying the travel and the photo shoots a little too much.
I don't give a fuck. I'll just go into it. I'm not gonna go with that avenue.
That's
but
all
I
I'm gonna say.
From
more transparency
from
on
my
advocacy.
perspective, it's the way that I feel is, I talked a little bit about kind of what got me into the industry and like my passions. I mentioned Meet the Professor and going to law school and wanting to contribute to the industry. I haven't had the means of getting involved to the capacity I would like to beyond being on a podcast and saying what I think. And, I think that when I look at the big stage, when I look at the state level, and I'm not targeting any specific organization, any individual people, but I think that the advocacy in general across the board in the industry is not targeted the way that it should be, in the sense that I think people have lost sight in what the mission statement is and what the industry is and what they're advocating for. And, I think that there's a lot of luxuries in the industry. There's a lot of fun times. There's a lot of good travel, a lot of amazing experiences people have in this industry. But I think that we are at a really pivotal time for the industry. I think people are swaying away from what they're supposed to be doing and who they're representing and what this industry is. In my small discussion I had earlier about what it is to me, and at its core what smoking a cigar is and what this industry stands for, I think that really lay person understanding of what this industry is lost. Because at the end of the day, you can have all the legal battles, you can have all the briefs, all the case law, the legal arguments. At the end of the day, when you're connecting to people, because politicians are people, when you're talking to people, I think we've lost sight in what this industry is and what it stands for. And I don't think that I think it's very complacent. And it's from someone in my position who really wants to be involved that, hasn't had the ability to get involved. It's tough because, I have a lot of, I think my stance on, now granted, I'm a lawyer, I can go into the case law and I can use legal arguments and I can use all the Latin words and everything. But at the end of the day, what this industry means to me, I just feel like it's not, like New York is very concerning to me. And it's something that's been upsetting me for some time. And again, I'm not targeting any organizations. I'm just saying from someone in my position who's just following what's happening, I just don't think that the right things are being done. Like Brookline, Massachusetts, there was no cigar representation, a premium tobacco representation there. And it's why that is, I don't know. And it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to censor myself as best as I can, so I'm cutting myself off.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Everything that you're dancing around, like people will hear this and they're gonna come after us for saying it, but it's nothing that 30 to 40 people haven't texted me unsolicited about in the last 48 hours. So
I just think that
you hear it here, but like
I
it's
think what's happening. I
just
guess
saying.
I'll summarize really quickly the background. What's happening in New York is a big deal, and it is, in my opinion, the start of the next big battle. And it's
gonna be more than a battle. It's gonna be a war.
I don't like what I'm seeing when it comes to how we're combating it. And at its core, when it comes to it's one thing we go to the FDA, you do agency law. It's a lot more science, a lot more facts. It's not really a personable argument. We're not showing New York what the industry is. We're not educating politicians on what the product is. And, I don't know. I don't think we have enough of a presence in New York when it comes to the advocacy level. And it's concerning to me because, again, Brookline, Mass. is so close to me here in New Hampshire. And there was no representation when that was being passed, and it passed. And it's sickening that there might be like one, I'll use me as an example. There might be a Pat in Brookline, Mass. who maybe was at the beginning of their cigar smoking experience, who might just stop and not open their eyes to that enjoyment in life you get through smoking cigars with people. And that's just one city. The fact that can happen in an entire state, and a state that I mentioned earlier was a monument in this industry. Amazing lounges. It's hard for me to, watch that. And I'm trying to.
I know what you want to say.
It seems
I know
to
what
me
you want to
that
say.
there's other priorities that may be more luxurious, more enjoyable, a little easier to do than to look at what the issue is. And I think that I don't want to say people are avoiding the issue, but the attention is not at New York to the capacity it should be. And I think that that's an injustice to not just myself as a consumer, not just Matt, but every consumer, every manufacturer, the legacies of all of the families who went through the toil of going through all their challenges to bring them to this point. It just bothers me, and I think everything we talked about on this show kind of at least sets the foundation for what this industry is. And I don't think that idea is being protected. And I guess if you, based on this conversation, if I had to put a headline for what the battle is, it's protecting future memories. And that's something that I think, now that I've never thought of it that way. And I think organically that idea came out tonight. And that's what you're doing is in New York right now is you're fighting for future memories with loved ones, with people you haven't met yet. And again, like your children, my children, you're fighting to have the ability to have those memories with your loved ones over a premium cigar. And I feel like we're not doing it the right way. The entire industry is not doing it the right way. But that's my censored off the cuff version of it. Maybe if we do a show down the road, I can, go more into it. But
you're always welcome to come. I mean,
I don't think tonight. I don't think tonight's the time to do it. But
no.
It's just I think
I will always have time to continue listening to you. I'm just listening, and I know exactly what you're saying. You're absolutely right. Every word, both you, Matthew, and Pat, every word. You're absolutely right. And as you say, Matthew, you've received emails or messages, but not from me, because I don't even know what conversation we're going to get into. But that subject that you're referring to is so clear. Who you're referring to, which organization, is a conversation of manufacturers who support that organization, who fought for that organization during Meet the Professor, when the big four that they call themselves tried to boycott that organization, try to destroy them. And the families stood for them, fought for them, and Meet the Professor stood for them. I know what organization you're speaking about. They have to be careful because those families supported them. And those families are talking. So don't feel bad, Pat, because you will feel horrible when the damage is done and you did not express your feelings or gave us your voice. And that is why, going back to all the conversations, why we need for the industry to come together with one voice. It is disheartening, and it really bothers me what you said about was New York and the industry supporting it. But those that are up front and are the leadership, that's their job, to focus on the important things. And I agree. And it goes back to what happened in California long, long time ago, before you were Joy Cigars, maybe. The rest of the world laughed. California's crazy. That's not the end of the world. It started in California, and it started going east, and it went over, and now it's in Europe. And I remember the Europeans, and I'm not going to even mention names, conversation I had. We're ridiculing the United States. How ridiculous California. That will never happen in Europe. Look what's happening in England with all the history of cigars and everything. Ireland, Belgium, Holland. I could go on and on and on. It's like a trickle-down effect. It's like a bad cell in a body, and I'm not going to say the word. We have to stand up for our rights to enjoy a cigar. We have to do it all together. Cigar makers can't do it alone. One group of families can't do it alone. The support of the press is not alone. It's the people. We have to take it to the people, and the people have to come. They don't have to enjoy a cigar. This is not about a cigar. It's about the rights. Our rights, the Constitution of the United States, and what I said earlier. I believe that so much. I've seen it happening. It's a domino effect. They take away our cigar, they'll take away our ice cream. And they'll take away our potato chips. They'll take away the things that at my age I don't enjoy, but memories. I remember the deliveries, Charlie Chips, when I was a little boy in my house. Those memories is my connection to my mama. My mom. Those are the memories. This is what this is all about. And I think that, as we've said it over and over, we need everybody to be a voice. The voice has to be heard. And I'm very grateful to hear your voice tonight. And know that those that they thought they would be hearing jokes tonight or whatever, what they heard tonight, I don't think has ever been said, or it hasn't been said often. But it's what I believe in my deepest heart and soul. What you have said, what has been said tonight, it's real. It's real, and it has to be said. Not only us, it has to be said by others. It has to multiply. We don't sell cigars. We're not peddlers. We sell love. We make memories. We are not the enemies. We're the victims. Genuinely, everybody you meet with cigars, they're good people. They appreciate other people. They appreciate life. They appreciate nature. Generally, that's my experience in life. And also, I know in my country, I see the news every day. I'm talking now as Carlito Fuente, not as Arturo Fuente's grandson. I see the news every day. It's scary, concerns me. The violence, the disrespect. There's no respect for authority. I see that. And, you ask yourself, I ask myself, I see that happen in the United States, but I've been to so many cigar lounges around the world. I've been to so many places where people are enjoying cigars, bars, Las Vegas, New Orleans, LA, at all hours of the night, in Russia, in Qatar. People enjoying cigars. They're consuming alcohol. I never seen one expression of violence or a fight. People who enjoy cigars bring people together. And I think you mentioned that so many times tonight, Pat, what it means and how it brings people together. But if you look at the history, the discovery of cigars, and all through American history, all the way through North and Canada, cigars were used for peace. When the Europeans discovered tobacco, it was used for peace. And still today, history claims 500 years, but it goes back, I don't know how many centuries. Still today, a cigar still accomplishes the same exact thing you have been saying for a couple of hours, Pat. Memories, brings people together. Love. All good things that the human soul will wish to possess. And tonight was a special night. I just want to say thank you to all of you. And I just hope that we're able to contribute something to this world that we love so much. And those that will follow us in the future, not forget those that were there before me. Because I will never forget those that were before me. I am what they were because I learned from them and they gave me the example. And I hope that all these things in the future, through generations, this little magic about cigars and tobacco, what it really means to my colleagues, to our world that we live in, that we're right now referring to, that they understand that cigars is more than just a commodity or something. Cigars is something that has been something in our DNA, our blood, our soul, is what runs through our veins, is our breath. Cigars have been part of our lives, and it's part of something that you just can't measure, like you had mentioned, it's memories. Cigars is what brings people together. And tonight, I think that we've spoken a lot about that. Maybe I've spoken too much, but it's been a good night, and I'm very grateful, and I really have learned a lot from you, Pat. And Matthew, this is the first program that I ever see that you lost complete control. You said very few words. I love to hear your New England accent, and you've spoken very little tonight. But that's what a good conductor does, right?
Well, it's not about me.
No,
it's about the other people on the program.
It is. And then in the beginning, you tell me Pat is not speaking much. He doesn't speak this and that.
Dude, he really came out of his shell.
Wait, you guys set me up. But thank you. You set me up. I admit it. But thank you very much.
Hey, I've been doing this for a while.
I apologize for a little interference, man. My laptop went out. I remember I had a phone, the connection, everything, but it's all good. I'm glad I was able to get back.
We've had worse. Don't worry about it.
If I wasn't able to get back. Yeah,
I'm
sure. Man,
we've been through worse. It's all good.
Oh, great. That's great.
But no, it was a good show. This was a long show, but we covered a lot of ground.
How long? How long? I haven't. I didn't
The
even look.
timer, my timer is up to 3 hours and 22 minutes.
No, you beat Coop.
We're in Coop territory. It's been a long time since I've said that on my show. We are in Cigar Coop territory. He's gonna get a laugh out of that tomorrow. He's gonna be like, "Hi, yeah, it's not just me, you know." I told you when Carlito comes on, it's gonna be a long show. You know?
I love it. Oh, that's great, man. Yeah, we all love him, man. But no, I know that some of his shows, we just get into it and there's a great conversation long. But man, I thought it was like an hour and a half, an hour, 45 minutes.
No, three and a half.
You know what? It's incredible because, yeah, a long day, long week, long month, long year. And
long life.
I never get here this early, and I ran to get here. I said I got to freshen up. I have my long sleeve guayabera, the whole thing, and I said, man, I'm gonna take a shot. I'm gonna be comfortable tonight, and I just want to have a conversation. It's gonna be I'm so tired. I'm gonna get a long night's sleep because tomorrow I leave for California, this and that. And I said it'll be an hour, and you know what? I'm so happy and I'm so grateful for this moment. This is a memory. This is a memory for me. And everything we spoke about tonight, everything. But for me personally, everything had to be said. But again, this will be a memory. These are moments that, they happen because they're meant to happen. Like I said, I was rushing this and that. I just want to get in, get comfortable. It's Matthew, and it's good. We're going to have a conversation.
That's what we do.
It got much deeper than that, I believe. And I really think that, it worked out. I had no idea that, I don't know if this is a competition. If you guys, what you bet the next food truck, what do you call it, food truck? I don't know. You and Coop have a competition because 3 hours.
Yeah. Because my shows are generally a hell of a lot shorter than this, so I like to give Coop a hard time because sometimes his shows go a little long, and he's like, "No, they're not always that long," And I'm like, "Well, you do a lot more long ones than I do." But tomorrow I'm gonna.
I think we had a I had a record with him or something. Jose Blanco was on that night. I remember it was.
Yeah.
It went by. We had such a great time, and we were just in conversation, just like we are now. And before we knew it, I had no idea. And I think it was it was years ago. But when when they told me, man, you've been speaking, or the show was going on so long, I had no idea. Just like now, it's just that you're sharing what you love, just like each and every one of you. You're sharing what you love, and you're having conversation. And this is what you do. And this is what Pat was speaking about today. When you go somewhere where other people enjoy the same thing and everything, even though you're in different walks of life, man, I just hate to go into this, but different religions, different languages, different races. You go someplace and you see them smoke a cigar, you smoke a cigar next to them, you get to know that person. There's no other consumer product that could do that. No, the most expensive purse, when you go and you sit someplace where those people go, the person next to them don't have a time to even smile at someone else, much less recognize the purse they have. And this will go on with everything. But with people who enjoy cigars, doesn't matter. You go anywhere, you're sitting somewhere on a bench, you get a conversation going. Those are the things, Pat, that you, in your words, really touched on. We have to do a better job, and we have to start locally. You're right, in the state. The federal thing is something else, but they'll beat us another way. They're going to start going locally little by little. What started in California, people say will never go out anywhere else. It's already spreading around the world. We have to go locally. You're right.
We covered a lot of ground tonight.
Yeah, I'd say we did.
We covered a lot of ground. That was a good show. He's right. We had a good conversation. A lot of things came out I don't think anyone was anticipating, but, you know, they're out there now, so whatever.
No. I stopped for a second because, man, you know what? When you get a certain age, you realize you say to yourself, you said enough.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I felt guilty because I thought about Pat. He didn't want to say anything.
And you dug it out of him? It's all right.
No, I didn't dig it out. I stopped for that same reason. The things we spoke about, we know what organization that was. And we're talking about New York and all this stuff. And Pat was right. And I realized that we really need to focus not on worry about impressing people about how good cigars are or the story we're talking about now. We need to focus with the government and the communities, because it starts that way and it starts spreading just like a cell in a body, a bad cell. And that's what we've been seeing now in my lifetime, for the last 30 years, slowly, 35 years, but it's got censorship. It's just getting worse and worse. And yes, Matthew, you're right. We were fortunate, whatever, because of the Constitution of the United States. We were fortunate that we gotten this far. But they're going to all the localities because it's like Pat said in the beginning of the show. Oh, it's for the kids. It's for the kids. It's this. It's popular. It's votes, as we spoke about earlier. They're right. And I think that organization and all the organization should start focusing on that. Because New York, to me, going back to this project of 9/11 that we spoke about earlier, that I have in front of me, New York, to me, is the Big Apple. And I'm not saying that because that's just, a term that was given by affection or for publicity or whatever. I think New York represents more to people who were born in this country. And I think New York represents more to the world, that it was to support the interests of freedom and liberty for Europe and some of the eastern part. I think New York is something that is very special. And if they, and as Pat said, and a lot of things I'm not aware of, which I should be, as he said, he's absolutely right. If New York falls, man, that's like taking Disney World away from the children.
We all shall fall.
Yeah, if New York falls, it's very scary. And I think that all the resources should be dedicated. And in any way I could voice that opinion, if someone's hearing, or any of my colleagues, we should dedicate our resources and our efforts to save New York. It's just the beginning.
That's right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I really believe that.
There's a lot more on that topic that we could talk about that we probably won't get into right now, which I wasn't planning on getting into.